KJ underneath the Ballo, lay it up good, and he is fouled by Diawara. Tied at 93. Caleb Love, hook down to Larson, inside to Ballo, who slams it home. Beautiful play.
But O is a dominant big. When O plays like he did tonight, we're a special team.
Boy, this transfer portal is a fast-moving. It's kind of like that commercial, Fansville, where the guys kind of get sucked into it, and that's exactly what this is. I mean, literally, this morning, there were reports that began surfacing that Oumar Ballo had just gotten done taking his visit to Indiana, had canceled his visit to Louisville, but was now going to take a visit to the new coach at Arkansas, who goes by the name of John Calipari. Well, apparently Indiana got that news, and whatever they needed to do, they did, because Oumar Ballo is now an Indiana Hoosier. And how about the fact that the Hoosiers who have been, for the most part, I don't know if is irrelevant a fair word to use in terms of Indiana basketball in recent years?
Relatively, yes.
Relatively
to what their
irrelevant?
history, relative to the history of that program, they have been, yes.
Yeah. I mean, you've got, obviously you had Sean's brother, Archie, who was there for a few years, but he couldn't kind of get it going. Then they went back to the alumni route and brought in Mike Woodson, but Woodson, has had, some decent teams, but not great teams, and certainly not any teams that are going deep into the NCAA tournament. But so far this offseason, I think they're winning. I haven't looked at, we kind of, I've said before, I think On3, the new On3, has the best transfer portal situation going in terms of being able to read it and follow it and all of that. But I would think that Indiana's winning right now with their pickup of the young guard out of Washington State, Miles Rice, and the guy who was literally, by most accounts, the top transfer in the portal, Oumar Ballo. So good on Indiana. Indiana is like, we got to get back in this thing. We got to get back in this game. And they have gone out and secured a couple of big-time college basketball players so far this off season. So Oumar Ballo is headed out, and it goes back to what we said yesterday on this show. And again, Oumar Ballo was going into his fifth year. I mean, we're still in that COVID transfer, the COVID-19 eligibility format here, which I believe ends after this year, where this is what you're going to see. You're going to see some guys who normally would be leaving your school as your player, your guy, maybe go and end up playing somewhere else for one more year. But in terms of Oumar Ballo, who's, I would imagine, I would think by all accounts, I've not heard this for sure, but I think by all accounts, Oumar is probably graduating. He is taking this as a grad transfer year, which is his right to do so with that fifth year.
Who even knows? I mean, the rule used to be that you could grad transfer without losing a year.
Right.
If the school you were going to offered a program that the school you were leaving from did not.
Exactly.
That used to be the rule. But now in the transfer portal era, with NIL money going around, I don't think that applies anymore, DK, does it?
It's a good question.
I mean, especially with the COVID situation. Because, I mean, again, they as they should have made the rules a little more lenient on this crop of college athletes because of what they had to go through 4 years ago. So, I mean, it makes sense. They lost a year and a half. So I agree with, in principle. I just wonder when the smoke clears and this the extra COVID year situation is over, are they going to return to some level of normalcy as far as those transfer rules are concerned? Or
I would think so.
Yeah, they almost have to.
I would think so. But
to answer your question real quick, Indiana has one NCAA tournament win in the last 9 years.
Wow.
One. So, yeah, not quite what the Hoosiers once were.
So according to On3's transfer portal, Oumar was number 2 behind Maxime Renault from Stanford.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find out here quickly what Mr. Rice was. He was 17. So they've gotten 2-17, but they also lost Cannon Carlisle, who was there. I'm sorry, Cannon Carlisle is still potentially. He was the other guy at Stanford, so they could potentially get him. Most people think Cannon Carlisle is going to go to Indiana as well. So clearly, whatever collective they got going on in Indiana,
right?
They're trying to get back into this basketball game.
Well, I mean, you look around the landscape, and Indiana still runs a lot of things when it comes to basketball, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so many great players still come out of that state to this day. I do know this as far as the Arkansas rumors of Ballo and maybe potentially hooking up with the former Kentucky coach there.
Yeah.
That yesterday news came out that their 5-star center from Kentucky, who didn't get many minutes last year because he had some eligibility issues. His name is Zvonimir is his first name. He announced he was leaving Kentucky to go to Arkansas, and he's 7'1", 260 or 280, something like that. So big guy as well.
Probably no room for two big guys at Arkansas, I would think.
I don't know. I mean, I don't even does Calipari run an offense? I don't even know. I don't know. I think they just roll the ball out and just see what happens.
Well, they're going to love that. They're going to love that at Arkansas. And the dominoes have kept on falling. Again, the dominoes of the latest college coaching change have reached down here to Arizona as the Mark Pope leaves BYU to go to Kentucky to replace John Calipari, and the Cougars are now putting their hand into the NBA bucket here in Arizona and grabbing a Phoenix Suns assistant, J-Dub.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about him. I do know he has his roots in Salt Lake City. That's where he's from. And I did read that he is the highest paid assistant coach in the entire NBA. But everybody up there in with the Cougars seems to be very happy with the hire. Losing Pope, he had obviously brought them. BYU has had a bit of success over the course of the history of their program. But more recently, they've really been hot under Mark Pope. So losing him was a big hit. But getting, obviously, a guy with NBA experience. And he did not go to BYU, to my understanding, but he's from Salt Lake City area, and everybody up there is super excited about that hire. A future opponent of Arizona in the next conference they're going to be joining. DK.
Kevin Young, the associate head coach of the Suns, so that would mean that I would imagine he's the first chair next to Frank Vogel, associate head coach.
If you're the highest paid assistant in the NBA, you better have the ear of the head coach you're sitting next to. That's for sure. Other news came out today. Did you hear this? Caleb Love has declared himself for the NBA draft, but is maintaining his college eligibility because he still has the option of a COVID year as well.
And again, I mean, that's a guy who, he's going to see what's out there for him as well in terms of potential NIL for next year. I mean, who would not want to have Caleb Love on their team? And again, the tough thing about this, and again, the tough thing about this whole situation in terms of the NIL is Tucson is behind the 8 ball. It's really no different than the corporate partnership game. And I was in it for 2 years over at Learfield IMG when I first got to town. Yeah. There's not a lot of corporate businesses in this town. It just isn't that type of town. There's no State Farm who's going to drop, money onto your program. There's no FedEx that's going to drop money onto your program.
Just DM and Raytheon.
You got a lot of government agencies here. Government agencies don't generally spend a whole lot of marketing money in sports. And so, unfortunately, Tucson is behind an 8 ball to begin with in this game now because of the way that this town is structured. And so how are you going to keep up? That's the question moving forward. How are you going to be able to keep up?
I think the question is how many of the alumni who have had a very, 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 very successful life and career after leaving the U of A? Because here's the thing. I'm a native. I've seen this happen year in, year out. Most people who come here from out of state don't stay here because you just explained it. There isn't a lot of there aren't a lot of jobs for you to go to directly. Now, there's a lot of remote work these days, so that's changed. Tucson's got a lot of remote workers who've moved in here in the last 4 or 5 years. However, in general, many alumni leave DK and go back to California, go back to the East Coast, wherever that may be. Not just talking about athletes here, but you're talking about Tucson as a whole, maybe not having that one big giant corporate headquarters that would just write a giant check. Why is Calipari at Arkansas? Because of Tyson Chicken. That's literally why. He's buddies with the CEO or whatever. So, I mean, there isn't that here in Tucson. And there's also a huge support system for the University of Arizona Wildcat athletics department. So I think that, maybe there's just going to have to be a group as opposed to a giant conglomerate that can write a giant big check for it.
Humberto Lopez better go get some friends.
Right. I mean, smarter people than me are working on it right now as we speak.
So there's a lot of challenges out there for Arizona's collectives to try to find NIL dollars to try to keep some of these players, because you never know. Maybe if the NIL, I'm assuming, that there probably wasn't the amount of NIL for an Oumar Ballo here to stay, because if there was, I'm sure he would have stayed here versus going somewhere else. I mean, I don't know that. He hasn't said that. Maybe he just wanted to spread his wings and find another locale for one more season. But again, I would think if there was enough NIL to match whatever he's getting out there, he probably would have stayed.
Well, I mean, we talked about it. I wasn't in those in that
exactly.
room.
We're not in those rooms.
Yeah, I wasn't in the room when the conversations were happening. And everything we've ever heard out of Oumar Ballo's mouth, out of Coach Lloyd's mouth, out of all of his teammates, he clearly loves this community, clearly loves the university and everything about it. So this isn't a decision to be made, I'm shunning the U of A. They should have done better to keep me here. I don't see it that way at all. I think that there are players on the roster who are young and need time, and that's the biggest reason, and I'm sure it was a mutual situation. The question I have is there's some oddities when it comes to foreign players and their work visas, right?
Yeah.
So you can't get NILs on American soil, but when they take, for instance, these trips to the Bahamas or trips overseas or whatever, or during the summers, they can earn that NIL money while not on American soil, right? So I'm not sure exactly how that applies to Mr. Ballo. I know in Fale Dante, he also from Mali, he got his NIL money over the summer while he was in Mali.
Exactly.
But yeah, I heard some big asking numbers, and good for him. I mean, if Oumar Ballo came out of this financially secure for a little while, then that's as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he deserved it.
All right, we are joined by the third member of our program, Cricket. And Cricket, you know how I know that summer is coming?
How's that?
Because I've got my work sweater on now. So this is like my Mr. Rogers sweater. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? So because if you've never worked in a radio station or a TV station, tell people how cold these buildings are.
It gets so cold. And I do also have a sweater I keep here. In the summer,
Yeah.
it could be 115 outside.
And it's probably like 40 degrees inside.
Guys, you know how
this
big
building.
this room is I'm sitting in?
Yeah.
Not big. And you know where the vent is?
Oh, yeah.
Right above my head.
If you ever see me on camera wearing a giant coat and you're thinking it's 80 degrees out, it's because there's literally a vent directly above me that cannot be moved.
That is the coldest room in the building.
And that's because I'm surrounded by equipment that puts off heat. And so,
Has to
again,
be
what DK
cool.
is saying is that these buildings tend to put off a lot of heat
Right.
because of all the computer processing that's going on and whatnot. And so, yeah, they have to be cooled down.
So now I've got it's starting to get warm, so I've got my short sleeve shirt on for when I'm outside, but I don't want to have like a pullover, so now I just have my Mr. Rogers zip up sweater.
I don't have a
on
back
for
seat in my
inside the
car.
building.
I just have a coat rack.
Hey.
I keep some warm clothes in the back seat of my car, and if I ever am in a situation where it feels a little chilly, I can go grab one.
You're covered.
Yep.
Cricket, Oumar Ballo is moving on to Indiana. Have you ever had a friend that moved away that made you really sad? Did you ever have any friends when you were growing up that moved away that made you really sad?
I can't remember. A lot of my friends that I still have now, I've known them
Your whole
longer
life.
than I've known my sister.
I was that guy.
Yeah.
I was that guy that
That
kind of
always
came
moved
in,
away.
stayed for
Aw.
a few years, and then I would leave, and people, oh, David's leaving. He's leaving us. Yeah. So it's that. But that's good that you've never had to really deal with that.
Yeah.
Because that can be tough when you're growing up and you have a friend and you make a friend for a few years, and that friend moves away on you. It's sad.
I bet. Were you sad when you'd have to leave all your friends that you made? Or were you used to it?
I think early on in my life, when you're just a kid, you're kind of, we're on another new adventure kind of thing. I think the first, when I left LA, because I had some really cool friends in LA who a lot of those guys are still my friends now. So that was kind of tough leaving those guys and leaving that environment. But then I got into a situation where I was moving every year. So it was you just make a new group of friends every single year for 5 years. I think I went to a different school every single year. So that part was not as difficult as it was that first group who I was kind of first grade through fourth grade, and you all were in the same class for 4 years, and you're kind of growing up together, and you get attached to that group. That was probably the tough one.
Oh.
Yeah, right there. But, yeah, so it's happening. The transfer portal is open. Football starts today, so we'll find out if any of the football players have jumped in. A lot of rumors are circulating out there. So, again, we'll kind of keep you tabs on what's happening with the transfer portal. We know that Cricket is not going anywhere. She is going to be with us as long as we are here in this building.
You're not
doing
transferring
the show,
Cricket?
right?
What's that?
You're not transferring?
No.
Oh, okay.
We are not going to allow. We've got an umbrella up around this building. We're keeping major market stations away that need a fantastic traffic person. We're saying there is no way. In fact, I've already had a conversation with Kenny Kowalczyk, and I said, Kenny, open up your pocketbook if anybody comes looking for Cricket, because we are not letting her walk away and
Whatever
transfer
it takes.
to another station. All right.
Funny.
Let the
Adorable.
folks know how to get home.
Thanks, DK. We've got from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center. It's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together with collisions reported. Valencia east of Alvernon, Oracle south of Grant. There was an overturned vehicle on Broadway west of Rosemont, and some slowing there on Broadway west of Rosemont, and some busy traffic on Grant Road at I-10. 54, the low 89, sunny tomorrow, and 83 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by try the new limited edition Orange Dreamsicle Frosty at Wendy's. Try the new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty at Wendy's. It's like walking down recent memory lane. To have Orange Dreamsicle Frosty in our timeline is truly something special, and we shouldn't let the moment pass us by. And be quick, it's only available for a limited time.
The very best in play-by-play is on Tucson's best sports station, Wildcats Radio 1290. This is the home of the Wildcats and NFL play-by-play. This is the one and only Wildcats Radio 1290.
Spring into savings all month long at Royal Kia. Big savings mean low monthly payments on leases at Royal Kia. Save big on remaining 23 EV models, like the 23 Kia Niro EV Wind, leasing for $161 a month for 36 months with $29.99 due at signing. Or lease the 23 Kia EV6 GT for $253 a month for 24 months with $39.99 due at signing. If you were looking for a gas option, lease the 24 Kia Forte LXS for $179 a month for 36 months with $19.99 due at signing. See dealer for details. Leases $650 acquisition fee. No security deposit. Mileage charge of 20 cents per mile over 10,000 miles per year. All offers OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Must lease with Kia Motors Finance. Niro K29065, EV6 K28716, Forte K29775. Offers end 4/30/24. Spring into savings at Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
Southern Arizona Radiology Associates have been dedicated to providing superior images and quality care for the last 35 years. They're the one you trust when you need an X-ray, CT scan, ultrasound, mammogram, or MRI. They have locations in Tucson, Green Valley, and Sierra Vista. Ask your doctor to refer you to Southern Arizona Radiology Associates today. That's Southern Arizona Radiology Associates. Visit their website at sararadiology.com or call 520-335-6849 for more information.
Searching HVAC near here.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Wow, nobody local? Huh.
Wait, what? We're an HVAC company literally in your neighborhood. Why is she not seeing us?
Just all the big chains. Well, it is what it is.
What in the... Can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you. Because you're buried deep in the list of local HVAC providers. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
Desperate buyers have created tremendous opportunity for sellers. If you've had the slightest thought of selling your home, it's time to call Sean Poston with the Poston Results Team at Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. Why choose the Poston Results Team? Past performance, more money in your pocket, over a 65% referral rate, an incredible Poston Results Team staff, and most important, communication, because you and your home matter. The Poston Results Team. When buying and selling really matter, go to TucsonHomeValues.com. That's TucsonHomeValues with an S.com.
Taylor Swift, the world's biggest pop artist. The Eras Tour. The tour that broke all the records. And you could be there. Win one of 3 trips to see Taylor Swift on the Eras Tour this fall, including round-trip air, 2 nights hotel, $500 spending cash, and 2 of the hottest tickets on the planet. Listen weekdays for the national text keywords for your chance to win.
And that text word is red. Text 95819 for your chance to see Taylor.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture, along with humor and celebrity interviews, your earbuds are enjoying The Rich Eisen Show.
Dan Orlovsky, are you still a Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback available in the draft guy?
I think the 3 things that make it stand out for me are, number 1, I think his ball placement versus man coverage is the best in the draft. Every quarterback in the NFL is accurate. He's got the best on tape. Number 2, most transferable stuff to the NFL. And then I think the 3rd thing is pocket peace.
Search for The Rich Eisen Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is everywhere. Wildcats fans can listen to us everywhere on our all-new app.
Now available from the Google Play Store and the App Store for iPhone users.
The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Trying to get this one to Pueyo. Can't get it to her. She's denied by Peralta. Get it instead to Martinez straight away. 12 seconds. Handed off now Pueyo. Thought about a 3. Said use the Martinez screen. Get it to Ez. Top of the key. 3 is on the way. It's down. Alexis of Tucson. Charity 3. Makes it a 5-point game.
DK on the sports tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. How about after we went off the air last night, 2, not 1, but 2 Arizona women's basketball players were drafted into the WNBA. You had Esmery Martinez taken in the 2nd round, and then you had Helena Pueyo taken as well. 2 of the 3 seniors on that Arizona Wildcats roster taken into the WNBA. It's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch those young ladies play. Helena Pueyo selected by the Connecticut Sun, and again, that was we were watching it on the board here as it was kind of happening, and Helena's name started coming up as one of the players, potentially one of the best players available. And that was really the first time I thought, well, heck, maybe she might actually be able to get drafted, because a lot of the talk towards the end of the season was, especially in terms of Adia Barnes, was that she could maybe get into a camp
right
as an undrafted free agent. But I'm not sure that there was a lot of belief initially that she would be somebody that would be drafted. But props to her. Esmery Martinez headed to the big city of New York. She's going to play for the New York Liberties. She was taken with the 5th pick in the 2nd round, the 17th selection overall. And then Helena Pueyo, 5 picks later at the number 22 slot, also taken in this draft. We had a chance to catch up with Adia Barnes earlier this morning, and you'll hear from Adia coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. All her thoughts on draft day. They've got a lot of things happening. They're killing it as well in the transfer portal.
Apparently so.
Picked up a guard from North Carolina, picking up a forward from South Carolina. So some good things happening for Adia Barnes in the transfer portal as well. She kind of shores up and gets some pieces to put around that talented freshman class that she's got coming back for year number 2. So a lot of great things happening there for Arizona women's basketball. The number 1 overall selection in the WNBA draft was
How have you been able to carry that load? It is unprecedented attention, and you're still just trying to go out and do your job.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like all this has come with just the person that I am and the player that I've been able to be, and that's exactly how I want to go into the WNBA. Is don't change anything that I've done. Obviously, learn, adapt, find ways to get better. People are going to expose my weaknesses, but that's the amazing thing about it. That's the challenge that I wanted, and I think that's the biggest thing is just rely on the people around me, have a lot of fun, be myself, and that's why I got into basketball, because it's fun at the age of 5, and how lucky am I? It gets to be my job, so I'm just very fortunate.
Well, and you've gotten to survive hearing us talk about you to, a mega
All night long.
crowd all night.
Sorry, guys.
Caitlin, thank you so much and congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Caitlin Clark.
And that was Caitlin Clark, the first pick in the WNBA draft taken out of the University of Iowa. She is headed to play for the Indiana Fever. And, of course, the WNBA season begins next month. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch these girls watch these young ladies, these young women ingratiate themselves in with some of the fabulous veterans that are in the league. And the Phoenix Mercury, in fact, announced their broadcast schedule today. They're going to have 28 regular season games. They're going to be broadcast on Arizona Families, and hopefully we'll be able to see those games here in southern Arizona. I was not sure if I could watch the Diamondbacks games, but I am able to watch the Diamondbacks games in my house, so that's a positive.
That's good.
We've won that because I went an entire season not being able to see a Phoenix Suns game. The Mercury they did not have a first-round pick because they traded out of the first round, but they did have 2 picks in the second round. And I'm sure they had 1 pick in the second round and 1 pick in the actually both of these picks, if I'm not mistaken, were in the third round. So they took Charisma Osborne, who we've seen play quite a few times, the 5'9" guard out of UCLA. She was 4-time All Pac-12 selection, 2-time All Pac-12 defensive selection for the Bruins. So Charisma Osborne is coming to Phoenix. And then Josh Shelley, a 6'3" guard out of the University of Nebraska, was their other pick. They were taken with the 25th and 29th picks in the WNBA draft. I do believe that those were both the third round of that process. Yeah, both third rounds. The 25th was actually the first pick of the third round for the Phoenix Mercury. So that's what the Mercury had coming out, and be fun to watch. Again, fun to watch as we go on this season. And again, we'll hear from Medea Barnes in the 4 o'clock hour, and we asked her about the Mercuries. We were talking yesterday about the Mercury and how they essentially traded out of the top 3 to get a veteran player, and I asked Medea about that just to get her thoughts about how they made that decision to build with veterans versus trying to go with young players, and I don't think her response will surprise you at all.
I think if you look at what happened last summer in the NBA, DK, with Damian Lillard, right? So what happened with Damian Lillard is they had drafted Anthony Simmons, and he was a 20-point scorer as a 20-year-old. And then they last year drafted in the top 5 a young point guard, 18-year-old, 19-year-old. So when you're talking about Dame in his prime and ready to go out there and try and make a push to win games, and it's not that he didn't love his time there, right? But they didn't do that. That franchise did not build around him with veteran players in a win-now situation. They just drafted young players. When you got Taurasi there, I mean, the Mercury need right now to surround the veterans they already have with players capable of making a push right now because they're on the clock. So you either rebuild completely from scratch, trade away the assets you have, or you trade away from that top pick in the draft because, a 23-year-old might not help you get over that hump.
We talked a little bit last week. Well, actually, it was 2 weeks ago, as we were getting ready for the women's Final Four in Cleveland, that they were going to have the women's national team was going to be in Cleveland and beginning their process, and that was kind of coinciding with the women's Final Four. Yesterday, we saw, J-Dub, a preliminary roster of what the men's national team is going to look like.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Devin Booker, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Drew Holiday, Bam Adebayo, and Anthony Davis. So far, the names that are being listed as potentially be the final roster of the men's Olympic team.
And the way they've been doing it, pretty consistently the last 15, 20 years is for the mid, I can't even think of the name of it right now. It used to be the World Games or something to that effect. But every 2 years, right, they have an event that's every 4 years, that alternates and leapfrogs with the Olympics. And the U.S. men's team for that is generally comprised of 23, 24, 25-year-old up-and-comers who they obviously have to – there's a big time commitment. That goes all the way back to Colangelo, putting that in place for the original when they were building that program there with the U.S. men's national team. Last time out, DK, they didn't do so well. And as soon as that happened, as soon as they didn't medal, all of the superstars came out of the woodwork and said, I'm committed. If you need me, I'm there. And so this list is no surprise, but it is a who's who. It's the best of the best. There's no question about that. And those guys are hungry to come back because, they take a lot of pride in that Olympic medal. It goes all the way back to the original when they originally allowed professional basketball players into it back in the early 90s. I think ever since then, they take a lot of pride in that. The mid-season tournament, the European Championships means a lot to a lot of European countries, not as much to the Americans that second year tournament. I gotta look it up because I can't think of the name of it right now. But yeah, I'm not surprised by those names. How about you?
No, not at all. I mean, those again, that's the cream of the crop right there. And you want your best of the best, and again, it's now a dream team of now. You've got some really good veteran players, but you've also got some exciting young guys like your guy Anthony Edwards and Tyrese Halliburton from Indiana. So it's a good mix of veterans versus the young stars of the NBA.
And that's what I mean is like when it comes to the Olympics, it's the World Cup. Obviously, I should have known. They just call it the World Cup, just like in soccer. When you have so many players, because FIBA basketball is a completely different style of game. You might know the basic changes, like the keys shaped differently. You can touch the ball once it hits the rim above the cylinder. There is no goaltending after it's hit the rim, things like that. But overall, the FIBA style is team style, DK. FIBA style is like that flow motion offense that Coach Lloyd runs, where everybody understands the sets, they understand where they're going to be, and they've played with each other for 15 years. NBA style is much more like, let's go watch James Harden dribble the ball for 20 minutes and see if he can get around his man or find an open guy. So much more ISO ball. So that's why the last time out in the FIBA World Cup, the younger guys struggled against that international style. But when you're talking about the names that you just listed off, they've all got experience. They've all got gold medals. They know what it takes. And you add in guys like Ant and Tyrese Halliburton to learn from those guys. They'll be able to teach the next group of guys coming in. That's how the system should be.
All right, the NBA playoffs begin tonight with the play-in round, so we'll dive into that as well. You've got 2 games tonight. Los Angeles, the Lakers at New Orleans. That game will tip off in about an hour. Both these games tonight can be seen on TNT. And then Golden State at Sacramento. So it is the Western Conference play-in tonight. And then, of course, the Eastern Conference teams, the 2 Eastern Conference teams, there are 4, I should say, that are in the play-in, will be on the floor tomorrow. Miami at Philadelphia, and then Atlanta at Chicago. So
you're not watching any of those games? Any interest?
Not really.
I mean,
I
LeBron.
have no interest in watching the play-in.
LeBron
tournament.
and Steph. I mean, you talk about the 2 players who defined the last 25 years of NBA, 20 years of NBA. It's those 2 guys, right?
Yeah.
They're both playing tonight, and yet because it's a playing game and they're both aged and their teams aren't great this year. I mean, obviously the Lakers have been coming on a little bit lately. I think that sentiment is pretty shared with a lot of other people out there. I don't
think there's any question, J-Dub. The Western Conference, if you're looking at this, the Western Conference situation is more intriguing.
Yes. Well, I mean, star power is crazy. Not to mention you're talking about Zion, who's going up against LeBron tonight. And the other side of that coin, to me, that's the big one. Last year, Golden State and Sacramento played a 7-game series, and Steph had to come up with a 50-point Game 7 craziness just to get the Golden State Warriors into the next round. So that's a bit of a rival. Those are some really good games, Fox versus Curry. So I'm going to be watching that game for sure.
We do know the Suns will open their run on Saturday. They'll play Game 1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves on Saturday. No time yet on that particular ball game. So games 1, and obviously this is we go right into 7-game formats with the first round. So it'll be Phoenix and at Minnesota for games 1 and 2, and then they'll come back to Phoenix for games 3 and 4, and then I believe it alternates 5, 6, 7, as you would expect. 5 in Minnesota, 6 back in Phoenix, and then game 7 in
otherwise
Minnesota,
known as 2-2-1-1-1.
Exactly, 2-2-1-1-1. All right, we're going to talk some hockey when we come back. Steve Potvin is the head coach of your Roadrunners. The Roadrunners have 3 games remaining. They'll play at Coachella Valley tomorrow, and then 2 home games coming up this weekend to wrap up the regular season before we get the playoffs going next week. We'll talk to Steve Potvin about that. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather. Here is Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. With collisions reported Broadway west of Rosemont, snow overturned vehicle west of Rosemont on Broadway Boulevard, Oracle south of Grant Road, and a collision Valencia to the east of Alvernon Way. Busy traffic on Grant Road at I-10. Also some slowing at Prince Road and Oracle. 54 the low, 89 sunny tomorrow, and 83 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The Pima County Fair is back April 18th through the 28th at the Pima County Fairgrounds. With food, fun, games, and the craziest new carnival rides. Try deep fried nachos or strap in and take a ride on one of over 50 carnival rides and win prizes with games. Plus daily entertainment, concerts, and more at the Pima County Fair. 11300 South Houghton Road, April 18th through the 28th. Find out more at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Hey, it's David Kelly. Do you know the radio is not the only place to find Wildcats Radio 1290? You can stream us by downloading our 1290 app.
A deep three is good, and the Cats are on top.
We're also available on the iHeartMedia and Odyssey apps, or head to our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Touchdown, Cats.
We're even on Alexa. Just ask her to put on Wildcats Radio 1290 so you never miss any of Southern Arizona's most important and in-depth conversation.
Whether it's playing catch with your kids, hitting the trails, or tending to your garden, if foot, knee, hip, or back pain is getting in your way, it's time to take action. Enter the Good Feet store. Their premium arch supports, which are HSA and FSA eligible, will help you bid farewell to discomfort so pain won't dictate your spring. Head over to goodfeet.com today. Schedule your free, no-obligation fitting and step into spring pain-free. Or swing by your nearest store. Walk-ins are always welcome.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's time to replace. And right now you can get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. Plus with our spring savings event, you can buy one window or door and get one 40% off when you buy 4 4 or more units. Just text CONSULT to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no monthly payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text CONSULT to 200-300 to buy one window or door and get one 40% off. And right now, save an extra $30 off every unit. Hurry, this incredible offer is only in April. Text CONSULT to 200-300. Text the word CONSULT to 200-300. CONSULT to 200-300.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids chewables provide fast relief for common stomach issues, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids chewables. Fast relief for little tummies. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. The hockey season is quickly coming to an end for your Tucson Roadrunners in terms of the regular season, but we are not only going to have postseason for the 5th time in 8 years, but we are going to have postseason home games for the first time in several years, as the Roadrunners have wrapped up the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, and they will be hosting the first round of the AHL playoffs. But first, there's the matter of the final 3 games of the season, and we are joined by the head coach of your Tucson Roadrunners. His name is Steve Potvin. He is with the fellas as they are over in the Palm Springs area for their final road game of the season against Coachella Valley. And Coachella Valley went all the way to the finals last year and lost in, I believe it was a game 7 in that series, or maybe a game 5. I'm not sure if it goes 5 or 7 series, but they are very good again. A good test to get things headed into the postseason, I would imagine, Wednesday night. Steve?
Oh, absolutely. I think these guys played a huge part in setting the standard for the league and for us. You know, they've obviously, as you said, they went to the finals last year. We took them to 3 games. It's a best of 3 game series, which is short. It's intense, and you've got to be prepared for everything and anything. But this is definitely a good test late in the season, and it's, again, going to help us prepare for what's to come here.
So, I mean, obviously this has been a team that has been pretty steady all year long. I mean, I can really only remember maybe one stretch of games where you guys kind of fell into a little bit of a muck, and that was actually kind of, it seemed like it was timed up with when Matthew Villalta went up and you know, spent some time up in the big show, and you were kind of juggling your goalies at that time. Let's go back to mid-February. When you lose a guy like that who's your primary goalie, how do you try to survive that down on this level when you're dealing with some younger guys like a Dylan Wells and an Anson Thornton?
Well, listen, you know, Matty's done a great job this season. He's definitely our leader. He's our MVP. But Dylan Wells has played really well. And you know what? Sometimes it's a little bit of an adjustment when, you know what, your best player goes up. Sometimes guys feel the pressure, but it's not so much the pressure of if they can or can't. They want to help the team so badly. And sometimes you just kind of come out of character pushing yourself a little bit too hard. Everything always requires the right amount of effort. And, you know, we talk a lot about it, but it's difficult when you're now in charge and you really want to help and you really want to be the guy that you know, provides that or secures the win, you know, and sometimes you put a little bit too much pressure on yourself and you overdo it. So you know, it took us a couple games to adjust to it, especially with Dylan, but man, he played some great hockey and he always came back the next night and secured the victory for us the night after a loss. And we've got full trust in him, and our guys do. And he, you know, every day he comes in and he supports the team. He works hard, And honestly, we're so happy to have both goaltenders here with us.
Another veteran guy in Dylan Wills. How are they different? How are he and Villalta different?
Well, you know what? I think one plays the puck a little bit better than the other. And, one's a little bit taller, the other one's a little bit thicker. I think both of them are very capable goalies. And, one's just been able to take the lead and keep the lead. And, but Dylan is a real quality goaltender, and he's got a great personality. And like I said, the two of them just support each other so well.
Chatting with Steve Potvin, the head coach of your Tucson Roadrunners. Roadrunners will play in Coachella Valley on Wednesday night, and they'll return home for the final two home games of the season this weekend on Friday and Saturday night at the Tucson Arena. A question about goaltending, Steve, that I've never really, I don't think I've ever asked you this question. I've always kind of wondered, in terms of obviously they're the only position on the court that really catches the ball or catches the puck frequently. Both of those guys are left-handed. Does it matter in goaltending, or is it better to be lefty versus righty? Does that matter a whole lot in terms of goaltending?
It only matters because there's so many more left-handed catches. So, or goalies that catch left-handed. So when you do have a righty in net, it kind of just throws your target off just a little bit. But I don't think it's that big a deal, to be honest with you. I think it's for the goaltending, they want to just save the puck, and for the shooters, it just takes a little bit to acclimate to shooting for your spot. And typically, your spot is high glove hand, and sometimes you got to look for the other side.
I haven't talked to you since Josh Doan got called up. What an honor for that young man to get a chance to make his National League debut.
No, it was so fun. I think he had a lot of supporters. Obviously, there's, most times when guys get called up, there's some questions here or there, or some guys may feel a little, they've got questions about it. But when he was called up, everybody was happy for him. They understood the type of work that they'd put in, or that he'd put in. And of course, the history, everybody's, wanting to see the next generation of Doan take the lead. And man, did he ever. And I think it's really ignited the Coyotes. They've played well since his arrival. And obviously it's just created a lot of energy in the city, and definitely at the Mullet.
Looking at some of your numbers this season, and I noticed, we talk a lot about the plus-minus category as it relates to basketball. Kind of walk people through how you guys evaluate that in hockey.
The plus-minus, the goals for and against. Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's an interesting stat because, some nights you may have a really good night and score 3 or 4 goals more than the opposition. But at the end of the day, it's only worth 2 points in the standings. So, there are some nights where, unfortunately, we let in more than our opponent. But at the end of the night, it's still only worth 2 points. So, of course, we try to do the best we can to minimize how many goals we give up over the course of the season. But we also have to keep in mind that no matter whether you win or lose, at the end of the night, it's still only worth 2 points.
Austin Pagansky is a young man we had a chance to chat with a few weeks ago. What's he kind of added to your club this year?
Well, he's a 200-foot type player where he can play at both ends of the rink. And you know what we like about Austin is how he prepares. He's always a player that's preparing himself to have success, and he takes it very seriously. So he's definitely a good leader and a person of character, and we lean on him, and he's done a great job leading himself and others.
He was raving. We interviewed him shortly after the incident in the NHL between New York and New Jersey, and he was raving about the enforcers that you have on your team. Do you feel like this is a tougher team than maybe you guys have had in recent years?
I think it's a tougher team in certain ways for sure. I think they're tough physically. They're tough to play against structurally, and now they've bought into how they should play. And man, when they play a certain way, it is hard to play against them. They play with relentlessness, and over the course of 60 minutes, teams do not enjoy playing against them if they're putting the puck in behind the opposition and forcing them to break pucks out. Nobody wants to go back and get a puck when you see, a 6'9" player, a player that's also been in the league a long time and is relentless on the forecheck. And, if things kind of go sideways, each of the three players on that particular line can take care of themselves, with Travis Barron and Hunter Drew and Curtis Douglas. Those three are very hard to play against. And then on the back end, we've got Koch, Patrick Koch. He's just a nonstop physical force. He just loves to hit. And, he gets 3 or 4 big hits a game. And, the best part of it is his partner most of the season has been Montana Anabuchi, and he is somebody that not many like to play against either. And he's been able to offer a lot of space and, for our players, not just Patrick Koch, but, for all the guys. They're aware that, he's in the lineup. And then we've got guys that just like to play physically. We've got guys that are top point getters that play hard physical minutes. Jan Yannick is one of those players. He's a point producer, but likes to play physically. Tyson, Colin Tyson is one of those players. Nathan Smith's one of those players. Ben McCartney is a hard player to play against. We've got, a team that likes to play fast and physical. And I know I'm probably forgetting some, but we've got an abundance of players that can play with a lot of energy.
Steve Potvin, the head coach of the Tucson Roadrunners, is our guest. Roadrunners on the road. They'll take on the Coachella Valley Firebirds this Wednesday night, and then they'll come home for the final 2 home games of the season coming up on Friday and Saturday, and then it's playoff hockey next week. What do you love most about the playoffs, Steve?
Well, you know what? I think the boys enjoy competing in the playoffs because every sequence matters. How you prepare matters, but every second on the ice really matters. And you're always trying to give your team the best advantage. And, you rely on yourself and your teammates to do that. And, the objective is always to put the next line up in the best position.
Obviously, the elephant in the room is the proposed move of this the National League franchise from Arizona to Salt Lake City, and what's going to potentially become of the Tucson franchise, as well as it relates to that. How have you guys managed that over the course of the last week as you're trying to prepare for the postseason, and then what potentially is to come after everything's done?
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of questions, but at this point of our season, I think the guys are really respecting the position that they put themselves in. It's been a long time since we've been able to play in playoffs in front of our fans. That was part of our vision from the start of the season. We wanted to play for something, and to be able to play, establish home ice over the playoffs is not easy, and we wanted to make sure that we secured that. And I think that's been our focus, to try to, get home ice and go as far as we can in the playoffs. So they've put themselves in a really good position to continue and to push for each other. And I think that's been really the main focus point right now. And they're doing a good job of really playing hard for what they envisioned and what they want.
Are you at liberty to say what your roster makeup for the postseason is going to be at this point? Do you know in terms of what guys might come back down to you?
You know what? There's been talk of some guys coming down. There's no doubt. They're talking about Dylan Gunther possibly coming back, Josh Doan possibly coming back, Michael Kesselring possibly coming back, and then of course we've got our call-up Aku Ratu, who's going to be on his way back also. Jan Yannick has made his way back. So, those are all possibilities. And, adding those guys to the lineup could bolster our lineup, and it could also, make it, a stronger offensive team.
All right, Steve. Well, 3 games to go in the regular season, and then the real fun starts. The third season. I was looking at it. I guess you can play as many as 27 games in the postseason, which is almost a third of a regular season. So we still might have a lot of hockey to go here before it's all said and done.
No, hopefully we're just getting started. It's been it hasn't felt like it's been a long year. I think when your goaltenders are making saves and your players are bought into each other, it doesn't feel like a long season. And so far, it really feels like we're just getting started.
Outstanding, Steve. We look forward to seeing you guys back here this weekend.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys having us on. Thanks.
Steve Potvin, he is the head coach of your Tucson Roadrunners. They are in second place in the Pacific Division at 87 points behind Coachella Valley, who they will play tomorrow night. Coachella Valley with 100 points on the season. They are the second best team in the AHL behind Hershey, the Bears, Hershey, Pennsylvania. You know what they make there, candy bars. 109 points for the Hershey Bears, but the 87 points for the Roadrunners puts them in a pretty nice position in that third spot in the Western Conference behind Coachella Valley and the Milwaukee Admirals, who lead the Central with 92 points. We will be, might as well announce it now. We will be live from Tucson Arena next Wednesday night. DK on the Sports Tip, taking the show on the road to the Calder Cup playoffs. Game 1 of the Calder Cup playoffs. We will be at Tucson Arena from 3 to 6, getting you set for Game 1, which was a 7 o'clock face-off next Wednesday night for your Tucson Roadrunners. We'll have much more about that coming up for you later in the weekend. As we go into next weekend, stay with us because we're going to have some tickets to give away for the 2 games coming up against San Jose this weekend, Friday and Saturday night. We'll be starting to give away those tickets. Crickets got tickets to see the Roadrunners coming up for you on Wednesday and on Thursday. It's DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Overturned vehicle occurred at Broadway in Rosemont on Broadway Boulevard west of Rosemont. New crash just reported Grant Road and I-10 reported on Grant Road at I-10. Expect slowing. More slowdowns Ajo and Mission and also on southbound La Cholla at Ajo Way. 54 the low, 89 sunny tomorrow, and 83 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
We get you so close to McHale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Hit the community trails, explore local parks like Saguaro National and Colossal Cave, and mingle at private Diamond Community Park events. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 11 different model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. Live RockinK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man!
We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot. Best price, biggest inventory.
Free tickets to a U of A baseball game? That's what Clipper Automotive is giving you a chance to win. Clipper Automotive is now a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and would like to give you the opportunity to win a pair of tickets to a University of Arizona baseball game this season. All you need to do is stop by the shop on Thorndale Road and put your information in the Enter to Win box. Stop by to enter at Clipper Automotive. No purchase necessary. Clipper Automotive provides honest, reasonable, and stress-free automotive repair services and looks forward to servicing your vehicle.
miserable? Don't let spring allergies make you miserable. Try the quick, drug-free solution trusted by over 4 million people, Navage. Only Navage uses suction to flush out your sinuses using refreshing saline, helping you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier. And here's even better news. Navage is now available at your local Sam's Club in a great new value pack. It's everything you need to start breathing better immediately at Sam's guaranteed best price. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Breathe easy.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And Doug. Hey, listener. Welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it.
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 2 of the program on this Tuesday. How are you? Glad you could be with us. If you'd like to get in on the program, you can do so at 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. That's the number to call us. You can also text us at that number. You can interact with the program by way of our app, Wildcats Radio 1290. In fact, why don't you text app to 520-848-1290. I will send you a link. You can download our app. You can take Wildcats Radio 1290 with you wherever you want to go. We still haven't quite figured out last week our issue on our app was we had too many logos were showing up and not photo images. Now we've gone from logos of teams to just our logo. Everything is our logo. So we're still trying to figure that out. I don't run this thing. I program it, but I don't run it like it's run by another outfit that controls everything that comes from the backside. And sometimes they just don't want to cooperate with the way I want my app to look. But it may not look the way I want it to look, but there's still great stuff on there, like the Suns agreeing, you can read all about it, to a 4-year, $70 million contract extension with Grayson Allen. One of the top 3-point threats in the NBA is going to be a Phoenix Sun long-term. Grayson was scheduled to hit free agency in July, but he is now secure with the Suns with a new deal. He's hit 46% of his 3-point shots this season and averaging 13 points in his first year with Phoenix. 28 years old, Grayson Allen out of Duke. He was a part of the trade in which the Suns, the 3-team deal that involved Damian Lillard going from Portland to Milwaukee, and the Suns trading DeAndre Ayton to Portland. Grayson Allen will stay in Phoenix with a salary of just over $15 million for next season. I like that, Jay. You got to keep that guy. He really was a positive influence, I thought, on this team this year.
Well, he had to be. This is his kind of make or break year because he was up and down with Memphis and obviously in his contract season. But as you mentioned, among the league leaders, actually led the league. 46.1 was the highest three-point percentage among players. And if you look at the Phoenix roster as it's currently constructed, what you really need are knockdown three-point shooters who can find the corner when Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal and Devin Booker are double-teamed, right? I mean, that's the system. You've got outrageously good offensive players who are all three-level scorers. You really just need to be able to consistently knock down that shot. What Grayson Allen's brought, though, more than anything, is the ability to drive those closeouts and be a playmaker as well. So that might not be what he's known for, but at 46%, DK, you know what that means? That means defenses are sprinting out whenever Grayson Allen catches the ball. That's on the scout. Do not let him get an open look at the rim. Super effective and efficient from out there. So, yeah, I mean, I know that the plan is to keep this team together as long as possible. We know how the NBA works these days, DK. We'll see how that goes. But as far as this current roster construction goes with those three superstars, you got to have guys like Grayson Allen who can knock down those shots.
Grayson Allen, you mentioned kind of a make-or-break year for him. He was a first-round pick by the Utah Jazz back in 2018, played for the Jazz for just 2 seasons, really just one season, that first season. Then he spent a couple of years with the Memphis Grizzlies, spent a couple of years with the Milwaukee Bucks, and now the Suns were his fourth team. So locking up a long-term deal, 4-year term at $70 million with that extension for Grayson Allen. That's good to see.
And by the way, that 46% number, that's 6 points higher than he's ever shot in any season in his career. And this is now his 6th year in the NBA. So, I mean, he's really, really improved his ability to be consistent. And that's the key word there. Consistently knocking down those open looks. You're going to get open looks when you play with superstars like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
Again, three-pointers made this season. When we talked about the percentage, he made 46%. That in terms of the top of the leaderboard, Luke Kennard, Memphis, 45%. Mike Conley, Minnesota, 44%. Garrison Matthews with Atlanta shot 44%. And Norman Powell with the Lakers shot 44%. His teammate, Grayson Allen's teammate, Bradley Beal, shooting 43% this year from three. So a couple of nice, both those two new guys giving the Suns some length to this offense. The question is, can they put it all together for this playoff series, which is going to start on Saturday in Minnesota once we get past the play-in round. Let's hear more from let's hear a little bit yesterday from Frank Vogel, the head coach of the Phoenix Suns. And before we get to Frank Vogel, this kind of all cropped up when the Suns, I think it was right after our last show, which was last Friday. They went to I believe they went to LA and got killed by the Clippers. They had a really bad game. And like the next day, I'm starting to see things about Frank Vogel being in trouble if this team doesn't get it together.
Well, I mean, look, you got an ownership and a fan base that's really win now mentality, right? I mean, Sheba's going to throw whatever dollar figures he has to. That's what he's shown in his short time there. So I think when you see this is the time of the year, DK, coming down the stretch run where you want to be playing as consistently as possible. So going in, but the way I look at it is not that way at all. I look at it as a desperate Clippers team had been playing poorly themselves, and they were the ones who needed to turn things around, which maybe led to that. But no, I don't think Frank Vogel, if he doesn't have success in this playoffs, is gone per se. I think if there's a style difference, if the ownership wants to see a different style of basketball be played, that will, or if the superstars that are already under contract are not happy with the direction that the head coach is taking it, but not because of a loss to the Clippers in the 80th game of the year.
Suns won 6 of their last 8 games down the stretch, including their final 3 games in a row, beating the Clippers after losing that game that we were just talking about, and then a 1-point win over the Kings, and then that final clinching win to get the 6th spot, knocking off the Timberwolves on Sunday. They will face the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round of the playoffs again, which begin on Saturday in Minneapolis. Let's hear from Frank Vogel more on this series between the Suns and you were going to say something?
We played some of this yesterday.
Yeah.
And what this is Coach Frank Vogel was asked what it means to miss out on the play-in tournament and have these extra days. And this is what Coach Vogel had to say to that question.
Heal up. That's the biggest thing. The biggest benefit of being in the top 6 is you get all the little bumps and bruises. You get a few extra days to just heal up so that you're feeling healthier. But we got to remain sharp, during this week. This is a unique challenge for the teams that finish in the top 6 have a different challenge than teams that play in the play-in. Because the teams that play in the play-in will remain sharp and in rhythm because they're playing every other day. But they don't get to heal up, okay? And we have a situation where we get to heal up, and we got to make sure we get quality practice work to stay in rhythm.
Well, I just don't want to follow. You're going to play Minnesota again. And started the first round. Is this going 3-0 against them? How do you feel about that?
Means nothing. We have the utmost respect for this basketball team. They have not played their best against us, but we've seen them kick everybody's butt throughout the course of this season. They got one of the best defenses in the league. They got the best defense in the league. Anthony Edwards is one of the most dynamic guys in the league and one of the most difficult guys to stop. They got defensive firepower all over. Cat's still getting his legs under him. He'll be better, when the playoffs begin, and it's gonna be a dogfight.
3 games. It doesn't seem like their size has given you much confidence.
Yeah, we can. Look, you can't make too much of the regular season matchups. They got great size. I love their team. I'm a guy that's coached 2 bigs, throughout the course of my career, and Coach Finch has done a great job with those guys. And like I said, they got a lot of talent on that roster. Okay, both sides of the ball, offensive talent and defensive talent. So it's going to be a dogfight.
All right, a dogfight indeed, one that will start Saturday, 7 games between the Suns and the Minnesota Timberwolves, who for a large part of this season were the number 1 team in the Western Conference.
Yeah, before Cat went down with that injury, I think he missed about 25, 30 games. So, they were really, really solid at the All-Star break. They were, and again, it's such a weird conversation to have, DK, because the team that has the best regular season record very rarely equals the best team in the playoffs. It's not like baseball, and it's not like the NFL. That it's a little different in the NBA, where you have all these aging veteran teams like the Lakers and like the Warriors, who are very experienced and know how to get it done and win games. And when you have all those minor adjustments in those playoff series, teams like the Timberwolves are just super hungry, and they've had so many seasons where they've been on the brink of great success over the course of that ownership. And obviously that's another conversation altogether, because, A-Rod was about to buy the T-Wolves, and that all fell apart within the last couple of months. But as far as what that team is, how that team is put together, like Coach said right there, they have every single piece it needs to be a great postseason team. Cat is a creative playmaker for his size, for what he can do. Ant may be the best 2-way player, offense and defense, at the shooting guard position in the league. And then you've got the best defensive center, right, in Gobert. So I think when you look at what that team did in the regular season, it was trying to prove to themselves because of recent inability to be successful in postseason. And obviously the Suns, are similar. Suns still have a bad taste in their mouth from the Mavericks playoff loss not too long ago. So, now everything restarts. It's now all about, how much you can take that individual matchup that you're looking at across the way and then do that for 7 games, David Kelly, consistently. That's where we're at.
All right, so real quick, of the 10 teams that did not make the postseason, which of those 10 teams in your mind, has the best upside in the future? Brooklyn, Toronto, Charlotte, Washington, Detroit, Houston, Utah, Memphis, San Antonio,
I think
Portland.
The obvious answer is San Antonio, because
Wemby.
Victor Wembanyama, bro, I don't know if you guys listening to me have been watching what he's been doing, but his second half of the season was unbelievably impressive. He grew so much from his first day to his last day on the court in his rookie season. I think as long as Victor Wembanyama stays healthy, knock on wood, that guy is such a difference maker. He's the best defensive player in the league right now. He's not going to win Defensive Player of the Year because he's too young and he's got plenty in his future. But he led the NBA in blocks by more than 1 per game and he is on a minutes restriction. Couldn't even play 30 minutes a game, DK. So I think as far as a young core, now the roster there is not great. They'll have to build around him, so that might not happen immediately. But it's tough, man. Every team you listed off, Portland, Detroit are the two teams that come to mind, particularly that finished last in both places, have a great core of young talent. The problem is that they're all 19, 20, 21, 22 and can't stay healthy. Yeah. And they're also not trying to win now. So no matter what Commissioner Silver's trying to do about keeping teams from resting players, it's still a race to the bottom and trying to get as high a percentage chance at that high lottery pick as possible for those teams that aren't sniffing the playoffs.
All right. It's going to be fun. It starts tonight with the Western Conference play-in round. We'll be watching for the next, 2 months? 2 months.
It feels like 6 months. It's too long.
Way too playoffs long. In the history of sports, the NBA and the NHL. Gotta love it. All right, we're going to talk some WNBA. When we come back, we'll chat with Adia Barnes. Joined us. We had a chance to chat with Adia earlier, get her thoughts on her 2 WNBA selections, Helena Pueyo and Esmery Martinez, as well as her thoughts on some of the new players. She could not talk about them name-wise, but just what they're going to bring to her program, and as well as get her thoughts on what the Phoenix Mercury did in trading out of the number 3 spot and going veteran to try to challenge the 2-time WNBA champion Las Vegas Aces. It's DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. You've got J-Dub. Cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. With new collisions at a reported crash, Tancaverde near Soldier Trail, east of Soldier Trail on Tancaverde. Also clearing Grant Road at I-10 and Broadway, west of Rosemont. That was an overturned vehicle. Also, the eastbound I-10 Star Pass off-ramp, a little busy there for possible police activity. Overnight, 54 the low, 89 sunny tomorrow, and 83 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by NextGuard Plus. Oxalon or Moxidectin and Pyrantel chewable tablets is the one you want for your dog's monthly protection. Use with caution in dogs with a history of seizures or neurologic disorders. Ask your veterinarian about NextGuard Plus Chews today.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
So I wore my fancy new Christmas boots that my wife got me.
Ow, it don't hurt.
Got a cramp. See? Gotta stretch before you do that.
Oh, my hip.
Stop trying to do crazy gymnastics in the studio.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
This just in, Goodfellas AC is matching up to $2,000 on federal tax credit.
Whoa, seriously? This is unbelievable. I gotta call Floyd at Goodfellas.
Hello, Goodfellas. Floyd speaking.
Is it true about the $2,000?
It sure is. Homeowners like you may qualify for a 30% federal tax credit up to $2,000 on qualifying heat pumps. And Goodfellas will match the tax credit dollar for dollar up to $2,000. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
Wildcat fans, Taco Bell is a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and is ready to serve you. We're open for breakfast. Fire up your mornings with breakfast at Taco Bell. You've heard about Happy Hour? Well, try Happier Hour at your local Taco Bell for $1 beverages. From 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., choose any regular freezes or medium drink for $1. It's the happiest time of the day. Taco Bell is locally owned and operated and is looking forward to serving Wildcat fans. Stay safe, bear down, and live Moss.
There are many signs that you may be in financial trouble. Late mortgage payments, paying bills from your retirement account, or paying one credit card with another. If you're experiencing financial hardship, bankruptcy may be right for you. The credit industry wants you to believe that bankruptcy is bad and will destroy your credit forever, but that's just not true. At Lerner & Rowe Law Group, we'll take the time to carefully examine your situation and develop a plan that is right for you. Call Lerner & Rowe Law Group today for a free consultation.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Sean Forrester, Managing Attorney.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
There are any number of reasons you might consider selling your home. To move closer to family, live within a smaller budget, or just wanting a change of scenery. Whatever your reasons, having to figure out all the various housing market trends in your area may not be what you signed up for. That's where an agent who is a Realtor comes in. Realtors have the expertise to help you find the right price and navigate the process to sell your home in a way that's right for you. That's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
Wildcats fans from coast to coast can bring a little bit of Tucson to themselves wherever they happen to be by streaming 1290 on our website at wildcatsradio1290.com. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Ball's inbounded to Esmery, trying to back down Osborne. Now gets this one nice pocket pass to Pueyo as she's able to get the cut finish, and the Wildcats have made it a 3-point game.
DK on the sports tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Great things happening out at the Tucson Racket Club that we are going to get to a little bit later in this hour. They have really revamped things out there with their tennis courts and their pickleball courts, and we're going to talk to Jim Toffel. We had Jim Toffel on the show back in December. He is a resident in Winter Haven. He came on to talk about the Festival of Lights, and he also has taken over the Tucson Racket Club, and he'll join us to talk about everything they've got going on over there. It is becoming one of the hot spots for pickleball if you live on the north side or in the the Midtown, North Midtown, I guess would be a better way to.
I live right down the street
that.
from there.
Yeah, you can walk down there and play some
I also grew up with the
pickleball
Toffels, so
if you want. There you go. So we'll talk to Jim coming up a little bit later. But right now we want to hear from Adia Barnes. We had a chance to speak with her earlier this morning about her two WNBA draft choices, Esmery Martinez being drafted in the second round by the New York Liberty and Helena Pueyo being taken by the Connecticut Sun also in the second round. And maybe a little bit of a surprise for Helena because there was a lot of conversations with Adia late in the season in which she felt like Helena had played her way into maybe a camp invite. But I asked her today, at what point did maybe it become apparent that Helena might not just get an invite, but might actually be drafted by a WNBA team?
Yeah, I think the last probably 3 weeks of season, I think she was playing pretty well. I knew they would get into camps, but the way she performed in the tournament, Pac-12 tournament, she just really stepped up a gear or stepped up big time. And I think that her stock really, it rose a lot because I think she was able to help guide us to the NCAA tournament with a really young team and low numbers.
And I guess this is really different on the women's side because if I'm not mistaken, there's not a lot of pre-draft stuff, is there? It's a lot of this is going off, what they've done in the season. What is kind of what opportunities are there for these girls to kind of show things after the season ends leading up to draft day?
It's very slim opportunities, and I think they're pretty much meaningless. I think it's all predicated off the season, the Pac-12 tournament, and then the NCAA tournament. I think those are heavyweights. And examples, Aerie. If you look going into the NCAA tournament, she was not the number 3 pick, but she was stellar in the NCAA tournament and just dominated and led us to a championship game. And so her stock rose significantly, and very similar to Helena. And I think that Helena, she has a foreign agent, who's not like as doesn't have as much, I guess, influence here because they are foreign and dealing with a lot of foreign contracts, so not a big presence here. If she would have had some of the big name agents, she would have gone the end of the first round, like no doubt. Because it's all strategic, and every agent kind of does that, and they leverage if they have like different players or a lot of players on a team. They have a lot of, they can have a lot of say in some placements. It's indirectly, but every agent kind of maneuvers that way.
Yeah, and you've talked about that before in terms of her opportunities overseas. Now that she has this WNBA opportunity, is this a better opportunity for her? Is it potentially better for her to go back home and play overseas?
Yeah, so what it does is, let's say, for instance, she wouldn't have signed a European contract yet. Her value and her money, just monetarily, she would have benefited because just there's a probability of her not returning to Spain. So I think that it's a chance, though, because if you have a chance to sign, it's a risk. Because if you have a chance to sign a contract before, a lot of times you want to sign. And Spanish players typically go back to Spain because there's some really good clubs and they're domestic players there. But once you're in the conversation of a WNBA draft, your stock increases. And so you can then go to Europe. Like Helena could have got a job today in Italy, Israel, like different places in Europe. But, she wants to go back to Spain for a couple of years. So it helps her overseas significantly.
Adia, it's such a short time till camp starts. It's not like in men's sports. What's that like for the players to have to make that quick turnaround? What are the logistics of it?
Yeah, so for a college kid, it's hard because you're still in classes till right before camp. So I remember when I played, I had to go to camp and then go back and graduate, then go back to camp. So I think you're trying to train, get ready, but you're still doing finals. And you're still taking classes. But Helena and Esmery, they're doing our workouts, they're doing our team workouts, they're doing our team lifts and conditionings. I love them being around. So they're in shape and they're ready. So there is an advantage in that sense.
We saw the video of you celebrating with Helena and FaceTiming Esmery. What did it mean to you to see both of them drafted this year?
It meant so much. And like yesterday was a crazy day, but I didn't want to miss that. Helena's so special to me. And Esmery had family she went to in Phoenix. And Helena's been with me for 5 years. She's like a kid, like a little sister, so I wanted to celebrate that moment. So we had a visit. We finished with the visit for the day or for the afternoon. Then I rushed home, got food for her, rushed home with Helena, spent the time with her, and was getting dressed in between the picks because I had a donor event to go to, and then a recruit dinner. So yesterday was crazy, but I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I wanted to be there with her. I wanted to be in that moment. And I was able to get information from teams and stuff. Because I have a lot of friends that are coaches and GMs. So I was able to get inside information, which was good. Just on kind of hey, are you picking her or not? Did you pick her? So just to be there with her special, because she doesn't have family here. They're all in Spain. And I just love her. She's like my family. So just wanted to spend that moment with her.
Yeah, Adia, what were those conversations like with the WNBA teams before last night about, the potential of maybe her being somebody they might want to select?
Well, a lot, just because I have deep friendships with a lot of the people. So I was able to get just honest feedback. So I was very confident she'd get drafted, but things change so fast because an overseas kid can pop up or, someone can enter that they didn't think, or there's just things that change. So sometimes I was scared to give input because, I don't want to tell Helena or Esmery something wrong or be like, oh, you're going to go the fourth round and they go third, So I just was skeptical, but I was trying to get information because I wanted to make sure if they didn't get drafted and something happens, do you ensure a spot for camp? And so I just wanted them to have the best opportunity possible. But I was very confident going into yesterday that they would get drafted, at least second, third round. And I was confident. They've talked to a lot of teams. They've done interviews. And, I was texting with people that are in those rooms. So if I felt good about it.
What did the teams say to you about what they liked most about Esmery?
Well, they like her athleticism. There aren't a lot of forwards in this draft, and there aren't a lot of post players available. So there are some teams in dire needs of post players. They like the way she can shoot the three. They like her toughness, athleticism. They like a lot of things about her, and they think she can just develop even more. So, and they asked, I guess some of the question was because she's not super big, she's undersized, but they asked physically if she can guard like a 5, and I said she can physically. Esmery's very strong. So I think what makes up in height is her strength. So it's just a lot of questions. And there was a lot of like deeper questions. They ask a ton of character questions because they don't want to bring, a rookie that's just not a good kid. So a lot of off the court character questions, but those are both great kids. So they're not going to have a problem in any of those areas.
What does it say about this program? I mean, especially with Helena, she was with you all 5 years, and then now she's off to the WNBA. So what does it say about, just your ability to develop these players and send them off to the pros?
Well, it's showing. I think the evidence is in the pudding. Like you saw Sam, you see Ari. I think if you look at all these players, none of them were super high rated players, and they got better and they improved in our system. And I think it shows that we develop pros. And this is just the beginning of my career as a head coach. Like I just finished my 8th year, or finishing my 8th year. So I think you want to show as a program that you're trying to, the goal is to sustain success, and you want to produce pros. I was a pro player. You want to take players that are underrated, that aren't like top 100, aren't top 10 kids, and you give them the opportunity to make a team or get to the WNBA, get to a camp, get drafted, because that shows they've gotten better. I mean, if you look at Helena, she was not on anybody's draft board last year, not even in a conversation. She worked, got better, and you see Helena as a freshman, and you see her now, and she is a much improved player. So that just shows it's to her dedication, and it's to her skill development too here. So I think we've done a good job of that, and we're producing pros.
Dee, I don't know if you have an opinion. Just what were your thoughts on what the Mercury did in terms of, they had the number 3 pick and what might have been, the greatest draft of all time, but they traded out of that position to get a veteran player who's been to the finals, who's won a finals, to add to their veteran group, and just the philosophy that they made to it's better for us to maybe go with a veteran presence rather than a really good top tier player coming out of college.
Well, I think that it takes time for a top tier player coming out of college is not usually dominant right away. Like a top tier college kid is usually takes some time, unless they go to a really bad team where they play a ton. So I think that the Mercury, they needed a guard, and they probably thought they're better off with a veteran versus someone else, and they're veteran heavy. Like Diana Taurasi probably has 1 or 2 more years, Brittany Griner too, and then it's going to be a complete shift. So I would assume they would go younger later, because I don't think rookies are going to help you win right away.
Just wanted to quickly ask about Isis coming back for another year, and what your thoughts on that, and what she's meant to this program to have her another year.
Yeah, so I guess to rewind a little bit, a year ago I was getting demolished. People say, oh, there's problems, people are leaving their program, and I want to say, well, 90% of those kids I helped go into the portal, but of course I can't say that. But it's like people are saying, oh, there's something wrong, she's losing all these kids, and this is like the norm. Like everybody's losing kids, and we didn't lose anybody this year, and we have kids coming back for 5th years. So it just is a testament to the program. It shows that we have an amazing culture, we have good kids, and the right kids are here. And I think that says a lot. Where you have players wanting to come back their 5th year. They do not have to. Isis is not getting a different degree by coming back. She's coming back because she wants to be coached by us and loves us. So I think it speaks volumes for this program and what we're doing. And it's obvious and evident that we are going with the foundation. We are going young and building from within. And I think that's very promising for the future. Now, can I promise next year that we won't lose everybody? No, because next year we will, because we're going to have a larger team. So when you have a bigger roster, you are going to lose players because everybody can't play equal. But I made the decision to build off of this core, not over-recruit them, which I could have over-recruited each and every one of them. I could have got a vet that's better. But I decided, keep this chemistry. Isis is a huge part of this chemistry, and I love her. She's great for our team. She's a great leader. She's great for the rookies and the young players. She's a connector. So I think keeping her and keeping this chemistry was very, very important to me. So I'm just so happy she's back, and I'm happy all the players back. The only person left is Solly. And, Solly was injured for half the year. So I'm just happy with the direction moving forward for this program. I truly am.
Are you able to comment on transfers?
I'm not yet, because they don't sign till the 17th.
Got it.
But we just got some big time. I guess what I can say without saying names, we acquired like the best power forward that was available in the transfer portal, one of the best. So I'm really excited. We have some program changing players that will enter our team, and we just finished a visit today with, I can't say who, but she's also going to be on this team. So I think the future is bright, and we're really adding to the foundation that we already have. So I'm excited about the future here.
And I assume we'll talk to you again after signing day.
Yeah, well, these papers they're actually getting them. I'm excited about the whole class. So 3 freshmen. So far, we have 2 transfers. We could potentially get another one by the end of the week. So looking forward, 3 freshmen. We have 2 commitments already for transfers. And then we're going to sign 1 to 2 more. So probably most likely it's going to be 1 more, but it could be 2 more. And then our team's complete.
And Adia, just your thoughts on the retirement of Tara Vanderveer up at Stanford.
Gosh, Tara's a legend. She is going to be truly missed. She has done so much for women's basketball. I'm obviously sad to see her leave, but she said, Adia, it's time. And I can see with the climate of basketball and how college athletics have changed, I could see a lot of the coaches kind of probably had enough of it. But she means so much. I think she's someone that cared about our game, did not only care about Stanford, was an advocate for women coaches, advocate for former players, has supported me from day one. When we were bad in the league, we were like 300 RPI. Tara always offered advice and supported me. Even when we played in the championship against each other, texted me the night before. So I love her. She's going to miss. She's going to be someone I turn to and I call with questions, advice, and different things, because why wouldn't I listen to someone like her? And I'm just going to definitely use her as a resource. She said her phone's available anytime. But yeah, our game's going to miss her. She's just accomplished so much and changed our game. She's an icon.
No question about that. She is indeed an icon. Tara Vanderveer retiring. That was another J-Dub piece of surprising news that came out while we were on our vacation, that Tara Vanderveer was hanging it up. I did not expect that, but it's like Adia said. I mean, the way that college athletics is trending is chasing a lot of old school coaches out of it. They just don't want to deal with what it's becoming, and then that part is sad.
Yeah, well, 3 months ago, she broke Mike Krzyzewski's record for most wins all time. I think that was the goal. That was it. Then now she's done. What else is there for her to accomplish? But I think I think you're exactly right. I think when you talk about the changes that have happened in the last 5 years, it's not that people can't adapt who've lived in a different world of amateur college athletics in the purity back before NIL and all this. But when you've done it for 30 years, it's a tough landscape to go into, and not only that, but you're talking about moving across the country as well. I just think Tara has always been one of the greatest coaches in the sports history. That's been the case for 20 plus years. So yeah, I don't think she has anything left to prove. I was surprised though, as you hearing that she had retired.
All right, getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Here is Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported at Nogales and Valencia and Nogales Highway, La Cholla and River Road and La Cholla, so Grant Road at I-10. Some backups at the eastbound I-10 Star Pass off-ramp. 54 the overnight low, 89 and sunny tomorrow, and 81 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Robert Half. Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Their recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
This is Carl's cousin, Eugene Snorkel.
With 2 E's, as in expert.
Yes, Eugene, 2 E's, as in expert on everything. Aided by UberTube.
That's right, UberTube expert. I'm certain I can fix your car and stuff.
Eugene, unwavering in overconfidence, matched only by his ego.
It's effortless, really. I binge on 40 or 50 UberTube videos, cancel all the opposing opinions, grab a bag of tools, toss in a load of potentially necessary parts, and it very well could be repaired. I hope.
Extremely awful idea, Eugene. Instead, explore the option of Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the local's choice for affordable tires at one low price with no hidden extras and lots of credible advice.
That seems a little too easy.
Indeed it is, Eugene. Easy solutions to get your car road trip ready. Start your trip online at jackfurriers.com.
For quality auto repair and affordable tires at one low price, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, here to get you there.
Ready for a staycation? Hey guys, Taylor Swift here. We're ready. Are you? Keep listening for your chance to win one of 3 trips to see Taylor Swift on the Eras Tour this fall. Shake it out. You and your bestie with Round Trip Air, a hotel room for 2 nights, and 2 tickets to the hottest tour on the planet. I'm having a blast on my tour, and I want to fly you out to join me. Your next chance to text a nationwide keyword happens soon. Welcome to the Eras Tour.
Free. Who doesn't love free? With Milo's Rewards, you get the member-only treatment that's actually worth it. Enjoy free member gifts you'll love. And once you reach Silver Key status, you can get free standard shipping. Because Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Learn more about our new loyalty program at Lowe's.com/Milo's Rewards today. Program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Member gifts may be subject to additional terms and restrictions. See Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details. Subject to change.
The countdown is on for the 2024 NFL Draft, presented by Bud Light. Catch all 7 rounds, 3 days, live from Detroit. April 25th to 27th with NFL Network Draft coverage presented by Verizon. And on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and streaming on NFL Plus. It all starts Thursday, April 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Visit NFL.com/draft for more information. Brought to you by Visa. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
And that's why Alaska vacations are going to be so important.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You're going to love this. Speak for yourself.
Make it quick. We have to remind people that getting an Alaska vacation right now means cool, comfortable air all summer.
Okay, so check this out.
Right, because when Alaskan AC Alaskifies, we do more than just tune up your AC.
Exactly. So my idea is...
we clean, test, tighten, and bring your AC back to the way it was when it was installed.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking.
People don't realize most of the repairs we do could have been prevented through our thorough Alaskification.
But best part is... Alaska vacations come with a 1-year, no breakdown guarantee.
But a whole year of knowing your AC is healthy.
Okay.
And if it's time for a new AC, we built the Grizzly especially for Arizona summers.
I'm going to get the technicians ready to Alaskify the city.
But...
and I'll make sure the dispatchers are getting our people out fast.
But... cool idea, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. See ya.
Schedule at AlaskanAC.com.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Back in December, we had a chance to talk to Jim Toffel. He lives in Winter Haven, and he was telling us all about the Festival of Lights on our Sunday morning program, Tucson in Review. He is also the man that has taken over Tucson Racket and Fitness Club, and they are undergoing a bunch of renovations to not only their tennis courts, but their pickleball courts. I'm told it's going to be the pickleball place to be here in the not too distant future. And Jim Toffel joins us now. Jim, you guys had a ceremony out there this morning, kind of a groundbreaking, a ribbon cutting ceremony for this renovations. Tell us about what happened today.
Oh, hey, guys. Thank you, first of all, for having me on. It's good to talk to you again. Yeah, we did a ribbon-cutting ceremony this morning at 10:30 to basically open up our new tennis courts and pickleball courts. And it was very well attended. Everybody is super excited about the courts. I think we have the nicest tennis courts and pickleball courts in Tucson now. And everybody, all the members and everybody who's been playing there is very, very happy.
So now, Jim, when we talked in December, you actually kind of told us this after we were done with the conversation. You were like, "Yeah, I've taken over the racket club, and we're making a bunch of changes." First of all, what made you decide to buy this facility, and what were you guys looking to try to do with it? Was this the sole goal, or was there a bigger vision of what you wanted to do to revamp this long-time fitness club here in Tucson?
Well, so it's been in my family since it was built. My grandfather built the club in 1967. It was his dream to have a facility like this and make it welcome for all Tucsonans. And so when him and his wife Marion Toffel passed away about 14 years ago, it passed to Marion's 3 sons. And we just, they're at the age where they're retiring. We had an opportunity to get it. And, I really, I grew up at the racket club. My kids grew up at the racket club. And we just felt like it's such an asset for the city of Tucson. And we wanted to ensure that it remained a viable business for the next 50 years so that future generations of Tucsonans could say they also have memories of growing up at the Tucson Racket Club.
Jim, go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Jim,
it's personal. I love it, and I just really want to see it be successful.
Jim Toffel joining us with the Tucson Racket and Fitness Club. They had the groundbreaking today for Phase 1 of their renovations. It's pretty impressive what they've done over there. 27 LED lighted tennis courts, 22 LED lighted pickleball courts, 11 indoor racquetball and handball courts, over 75 weekly exercise classes, 2 75-foot junior Olympic heated pools. You got the basketball courts. You got 3 sand volleyball courts. What is, in terms of the pickleball, and we've seen just the explosion of that sport here, not only in Southern Arizona, but just across the country. I was on vacation last week, Jim, and I actually spent about an hour watching the pickleball channel, which is just like all-day programming based around pickleball and the phenomenon of this sport. How important was it to incorporate that into what you guys were doing?
Pickleball is the fastest-growing sport in the country right now. There's more people playing pickleball than there are playing golf or playing tennis. And it's a fun sport. It's an easy-to-learn sport. You can get proficient in pickleball in a couple of months. It's not like tennis or golf where it can take years to get really proficient at those sports. And I can tell you from my experience, I played basketball for 30 years and my knees got to the point where I couldn't play anymore. And I really didn't think I was going to be able to play pickleball, but it's not been a problem. I don't have knee issues. So it's a sport where you can play into your 60s and 70s, and there's guys out there in their 80s. And it's great for young people too. So it's a really fun sport. If you haven't tried it, I would recommend giving it a shot.
Now, part of this is you guys are touting one of the best surfaces, like you just mentioned, for pickleball. What did you guys do to incorporate? What are some of the things there? Just reading the release, it says you guys put in new post-tension slabs. How does that affect, I guess, the way that people feel when they're on the court there?
Well, so the post-tension slab's really for long-term durability. It's not going to have cracks that come through. Most of the older courts in Tucson, where tennis courts were there and they converted them to pickleball, a lot of those are old asphalt courts. And so asphalt is not a structural surface. So if there's movement in the substrate, that comes straight through and it affects the consistency of the court. So, the thing that we really did for our pickleball courts, so we wanted to make sure we gave them the proper attention to detail. So we added space on each side of the court. So if somebody hits a really good shot, you're not going to slam into a fence trying to return it. We doubled the amount of lighting, so it's great for night play. There's fences between every court, and they're very bright, vibrant colors. So it's, all that together, I think, really kind of is what makes the Racket Club kind of stand apart from everything else in Tucson.
Jim Toffel is our guest, Tucson Racket Fitness Club. They debuted their new 27 lighted tennis courts as well as their 22 pickleball courts with a ceremony this morning over there. This is phase 1 of the renovation plan. Walk us through what's next over there for you guys, Jim.
Well, so we want to do some handicap accessibility improvements so that people who are in wheelchairs can get up to the bar and get up to the weight room facilities on the second floor. We want to bring some of it's still a very dated facility. We want to bring it out of the 1970s and kind of modernize some of the architecture. And really improve the fitness facilities. I think that's high on our priority list. So it's going to be things that we take in bite-sized chunks. Right now we've made a significant investment. We've updated all of our membership software, and we're really focusing on process improvements and just trying to make the membership experience as good as possible.
Now, what maybe a lot of people don't know, Jim, is that the facility is open 24 hours. Can you access everything at any time of the day, or are there only certain parts of it that are open 24 hours?
Well, like the pools and the weight rooms and racquetball, those are all open 24 hours a day. The tennis courts and pickleball courts, we typically shut those down at like 11 o'clock or midnight just because there are houses around and we don't want to keep people up. So it's from sunrise or 6 a.m. to about 11 p.m. on the racket courts. But everything else is open 24 hours a day.
And it is still obviously, members. You can sign up for a membership there. It is, though, open to the public for a fee. Walk folks through if they want to get a membership, how they can access those, or if they just want to be somebody that just wants to come from time to time, how that works as well.
So just come on in. If you want to, anybody who comes in for the first time can get a free 3-day pass. Try out the club, make sure they like it. We're running a special right now. If you commit to a year, you get a month free. The other way you can experience is our Friday night barbecues. So those are starting a week from Friday. We have a band come in. We serve food. The kids can swim in the pool. And it's a really great way to access the club, and that's a fun event as well. And those are going to be every Friday night starting next week.
And it's also the home of the 3-time defending sand volleyball champion South Point Catholic beach volleyball team.
That's right. South Point's and Catalina Foothills beach volleyball teams both play.
Oh, wow, okay.
At the club. South Point's tennis team plays at the club. We're talking to the U of A club pickleball team about coming to the club as well. So, we want to make sure we keep the youth involved.
And in terms of kind of circling back to pickleball, in terms of tournaments, will you guys be hosting tournaments now that you've opened up the new courts?
Yeah, we have tournaments there quite often. I met with Mike Neely, who's the CEO of USA Pickleball. They're based up in Scottsdale a few weeks ago, and we talked about the potential of getting a golden ticket event down in Tucson. They need 50 pickleball courts to do that, but that would bring in thousands of people to Tucson. And the winners of those golden ticket events get to go to nationals and compete for nationals. So we would have to partner with another facility, but it would be amazing for the city if we could get something like that down here.
That would absolutely be really, really cool. It is the Tucson Racket and Fitness Club. It's located at 4001 North Country Club Road here in Tucson. Jim Toffel, as you heard him say, his family has been involved with this club for a very long time, and they are continuing to revamp it, bringing it up like he's bringing it out of the 1970s, as he said. But the food is still good. I've eaten at the restaurant a couple of times. The food is still really good. Are there plans to revamp the restaurant as well?
Yeah, we hired a new food and beverage manager. She came from Jonathan's Cork, and she's trying to really upscale the food experience. And it's a mixture of both bar food and healthy food. So we've got great salads, but then you also have burgers and cheese crisps and pizzas and that type of stuff.
Outstanding. Well, Jim, keep us up to date on everything that's happening over there. We appreciate everything you're doing and trying to revamp that location and again make it a place where Tucsonans can go for a number of things, including their fitness, whether it's pickleball or tennis, like you said, or working out. I believe you still have the hair salon. Wasn't there a hair salon there at one point as well?
Yeah, we've got massage, hair salon. We have a nutritionist. So there's a lot of different things. It's a great place to be. And it's just, when people come to the club, it's just they're happy, they're living a healthy lifestyle, and it's we like to think of it as people's home away from home. So I think it's fun to participate in something like that.
No doubt about that. Hey, Jim, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us again today.
Hey, guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Jim Toffel with the Tucson Racket and Fitness Club out on North Country Club Road. It's kind of back there. It looks a little secluded. It looks like it's private, but hey, it is open to the public. You can go in there. You can get a membership and be a member, or if you just want to go and maybe play around the tennis or hit some balls. You know what I actually did one time, because my wife and I went up there and we got the trial memberships, is I went over one night because my wife loves pickleball. I'm still maybe more of a tennis person myself, but I just went over there and I set up the machine to hit balls at me. The tennis machine that fires the balls out at you, and I'd never actually hit off one of those machines before. It started out it was throwing them out there pretty fast. I had to run over there and kind of turn it down a little bit because it was actually feeding him a little bit faster than I could react to the tennis balls. But once I got it on the right timing there, it was kind of fun to just hit the balls back. Now, of course, you got to pick them all up when you're done, and that takes that is a lengthy chore as well. But it was kind of nice to be able to, versus just hitting off a wall, to be able to hit on the court at something that was feeding the balls to you. So we appreciate Jim Toffel for dropping by, stopping, and letting us know everything that's happening with the Tucson Racket and Fitness Club. Head on over there and enjoy some of the new stuff that's happening, especially if you love pickleball. You might see me there one night with the wife playing a game or two. I was trying to pull up my Duper rating, but for some reason my Duper app is not working. I finally did get my Duper rating, and I was going to let Jim know what it was, but I couldn't get it to pull up here on this machine. So hopefully I'll get it, and I can let you know what my score is in terms of that. All right, 520-848-12-9. Popcorn?
I had to talk to Mr. Toffel off air because my distinct memory, I grew up at the Racket Club.
Right.
My mom was really good friends with Marion Toffel. My distinct memory was popcorn, and what he just said, I told him we were going to archive this so he could have it available if he wants to share it. And I told him popcorn is my memory, and he's like, that was the first thing we brought back when they took over because they got rid of it during COVID. But I remember they had a popcorn machine just 24/7 nonstop that you could just go over, and the whole front lobby area. But yeah, what a great place. And what he said there at the end about the feeling of it and, being a part of the community, that was my memory just because that's what Marion was all about. Just really warm place.
Awesome. Great to hear some history of Tucson. As well as how it relates to a facility that we can use here in the present. DK on the sports tip coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to hear the Wildcats are back on the football field today. Practice number 10 of the spring. This is the beginning of week number 4. 2 weeks left to go. 6 practices today. There are 3 this week and 3 next week to wrap up spring practice. We're going to hear from Keon Burnett, who for a moment was in the transfer portal, but decided to step out. You'll hear from him as well as in the 5 o'clock hour. Who else are we going to hear from in the 5 o'clock hour? We're going to hear from Carly Scupin. We had a chance to talk to Carly Scupin today. It is senior weekend coming up for Arizona softball. The ladies are taking on none other than the Sun Devils. DK on the sports tip. Join us continuing until 6 o'clock. And don't forget, we got Arizona baseball tonight. Arizona baseball at 6:50 with Brian Jeffries as the Wildcats look to win their 12th game in a row, taking on Grand Canyon on the road. So lots of sports still to come here tonight. Wildcats Radio 1290 is your place to be.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Some busy traffic at Ajo and Mission for westbound Ajo at Mission. Also backups on southbound La Cholla at Ajo Way. And freeway traffic is picking up on the eastbound side of I-10 as you approach Ruthroff. Collisions clearing 12th Avenue north of Ajo Way, Nogales Highway in Valencia, La Cholla, and River Road. 54, the overnight low, 89, sunny skies tomorrow, and 81 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your go-to destination for nonstop entertainment. Play for fun and play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void or prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. So what do you know? The Lakers go all in. They win 11 of their last 14. They lock up the number 8 slot, and they're in the play-in tournament. You know, the play-in tournament that LeCap hates. My man, you are what your record says you are. Your record says you are a play-in team and a horrible movie maker. That too. At least you're in. Well, you're in the play-in. That's the good news. The bad news is you play the Pelicans, who are even slight favorites. Now the worst news. If you beat them, your reward for that is the defending champs, the Nuggets, and you're not beating them, which is a lock. How do I know that? Because the Nuggets have beaten the Lakers 8 straight times. And don't look now, but AD is peaking at just the right time with back spasms after incidental contact with Larry Nance Jr. AD called that, quote, a dangerous play. It's all good, though. The last thing you want to do is win this game. Press those streets, sit in those streets, and avoid the Nuggets at all costs. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million active members. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. Download the app right now. Use the code ROME for a first deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit PrizePicks.com for restrictions and details.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Attention Tucson. Remember, if it's game day and the Wildcats are taking the floor, you can count on 1290 to bring you all the play-by-play action, the biggest pre- and post-game show in the Pac-12. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Are you ready to adopt? Come to the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. When you adopt from us, you will save more than one life. You'll also make room for the next pet in need. The Humane Society of Southern Arizona has been compassionately serving pets and the people who love them since 1944. Our knowledgeable adoption matchmakers will help you find the right pet for your home and support you after you adopt. We are open 7 days a week at our main campus at 635 West Roger Road. Learn more and see adoptable pets at hssaz.org.
This is Carl's cousin, Eugene Snarkle.
With 2 E's, as in expert.
Yes, Eugene, 2 E's, as in expert on everything. Aided by UberTube.
That's right, UberTube expert. I'm certain I can fix your car and stuff.
Eugene, unwavering in overconfidence, matched only by his ego.
It's effortless, really. I binge on 40 or 50 UberTube videos, cancel all the opposing opinions, grab a bag of tools, toss in a load of potentially necessary parts, and it very well could be repaired. I hope.
Extremely awful idea, Eugene. Instead, explore the option of Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the local's choice for affordable tires at one low price with no hidden extras and lots of credible advice.
That seems a little too easy.
Indeed it is, Eugene. Easy solutions to get your car road trip ready. Start your trip online at jackfurriers.com.
For quality auto repair and affordable tires at one low price, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, here to get you there.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 3 on this Tuesday. We want to talk to you. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Okay, I've got up our question of the day, finally. It took me a minute to get it up, but it is now up. And the question is this, and we'll review our question of the day from yesterday as well. At the top of the show, we're talking about Oumar Ballo, who has made the decision to go to play at Indiana for what we believe is his grad year, his grad transfer year. It's his 5th year, which he gets because of the COVID thing. Does Oumar Ballo's decision to play for the Indiana Hoosiers change your feeling about his legacy as an Arizona Wildcats player? Head on over to Twitter right now, Wildcats1290, and you can vote in our poll. Does Oumar Ballo's decision to play for the Indiana Hoosiers change your feeling about his legacy as an Arizona Wildcats player? Right now, 76% of you saying no, Oumar Ballo is a Wildcat for life. 24% of you, however, saying yes. It does change my feeling about Oumar Ballo because he is now wearing the wrong red. Again, head on over to Twitter. You can vote in our poll. You can comment over there as well. Shaz checks in. This shouldn't even be a question. I'm assuming he would vote no, that it does not change his feeling now that Oumar Ballo has left to go play for the Indiana Hoosiers. Maybe it shouldn't be a question, Shaz, but it is. So we asked it.
People have different opinions.
Yes, they do. It does not change. It does not change anything for me.
No, me either.
Not at all. But
I think everything I've ever heard, I do not know Mr. Ballo personally, but everything I've heard out of his mouth, to me, points towards him retiring here in Tucson at some point, David Kelly. I mean, I think, I don't know of a recent Arizona basketball player who has embraced and loved this city as much as him, at least publicly.
And I want to read something that our guy Kelvin Ifan put out. I don't know if this might have been from last year's football red-blue game, because it's a picture of Kelvin with a bunch of different football, basketball players. Reggie Gary took the picture, but Brandon Sanders is in it and some other of the football guys. And Kelvin obviously is a huge part of our programming here. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to read to you what Kelvin said today, because it is, again, the football transfer portal has opened for business. There's a lot of rumors about what that's going to mean for this Arizona football team, who's staying, who's going. We have not heard of any names yet outside of the ones that were out there. But here's what Kelvin had to say as the captain of the 1998, the best team in school history at 12-1. Kelvin said, "This is what being a Wildcat is all about. And he's referring to this picture that they took, which I'm assuming it was at the spring game last year, or maybe in a year past. Our slogan was stay together. If you played 100 games, one game, or was just a practice player, you're a Wildcat. Good luck to all the transfers that are leaving and the ones coming into play. At Arizona, we always had JUCO players, 2 seasons to play, transfers, and guys who switched sports, like me. Also, most players have one great/good year. To sum this up, I, the captain, respect all decisions to stay or transfer. If a player transfers, they are still my Wildcat brother/sister. Once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. And he closes it out with the bear down emoji, the bear head, and then the down-facing arrow. That is your captain, Kelvin Ifan, from 1998. I don't think he could have put it any better than that. There's maybe a part of that and again, I think there's going to be some pushback in terms of once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. Yeah, there's a lot of guys and ladies that have played here, but I think a lot of that comes back to whether or not the fans who you play for are going to want to embrace you in the future. You may come back, but are you going to be welcomed by that fan base that loved you when you were wearing the Arizona uniform if now you've gone to wear somebody else's uniform? And you can, and that's, again, that's left up to each individual Wildcat fan out there how they feel about that part of it. And that's why we asked the question today about Oumar Ballo, because he's going to, if he goes to the NBA at some point, it goes back to kind of like Tony Fields. To me, Tony Fields is a Wildcat. He played his 3 best years here at the University of Arizona, the linebacker, now with my Cleveland Browns. Then he went and played a year at West Virginia. It was a grad year. And I've said all along, to me, I'm fine with anybody that wants to take a grad year and go play somewhere else, because that is the right that has been given to these young people, is they can do that. The kids that leave before that, maybe not. Whether or not, as a Wildcat fan, I'm interested in welcoming you back to the program in the future.
Yeah, I think 2 things real quick. Kelvin has always been an advocate for the individual and for what's best for them and for their family.
Mm-hmm.
So, and number 2, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat, to me means some people wear the jersey but never were Wildcats. Like, if your heart's not here and you're just maybe here for a year or whatever, I think I would never speak for the captain. To me, that kind of concept and terminology means that if you were, Oumar Ballo was about as Wildcat as it gets.
Yeah.
Right? Really, really loves the fans. Really, just talk to him. Look at the smile on his face when he talks about what the McHale crowd means to him. That's real. He is a Wildcat. He will always be a Wildcat down the road. There's probably some Zags fans who will claim him in the NBA years from now, DK. That idea of rooting for a player that you love, you want to see do well, and you want to have success, I think some people come to college, and I'm not here to poo-poo this concept, but come to really benefit themselves and themselves only, right? And again, we're talking about team sports here, so you have to be able to work well with others to be able to compete in a team sport. But a lot of times there are people who have their eyes on the horizon and they're looking past what is happening right now. There's other people like that group in that picture that you're talking about who love their time on campus, love those people, the brothers and sisters that they played shoulder to shoulder with, and will always embrace that mentality of Wildcat for life.
Yeah.
So I think the transfer, situation heating up so quickly these last 3 or 4 years, you're going to see this a lot. You're going to see a lot of players move to a second, third, fourth team. And the question is, how about Kirk Kriisa? Right? When he was on campus wearing that jersey, he was hyped, about as hyped as anybody I've ever seen to be an Arizona Wildcat basketball player. Right. I know that the inconsistency from outside led to some fans maybe turning on him, but down the road, I mean, do people claim Kerr Kriisa as a Wildcat for life? Again, that's up to the individual. It's really, how do you be a fan, David? That's the conversation we're having. You want to open that Pandora's box. Like, what does it mean to be a fan, and how do you fan? Well, that's really up to you. I love Oumar Ballo, and I wish him nothing but the best. And from everything I ever heard him say, he loves Tucson. He'll always be a Wildcat in my heart.
520-848-1290. Want to hear from you on that. 520-848-1290. What do you think about what the captain had to say today? Once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. I think it's very interesting, and I'll point to the athletic department on this aspect. They don't themselves, and I'm going to speak specifically to baseball in terms of how they count their major leaguers. There's quite a few guys that started their careers here at the University of Arizona, went on to play at other places that aren't counted as Arizona Wildcats who have made the major leagues. So I'll start right there, that the university itself, the athletic department itself, it's something I've always not liked, because to me, if you wore this uniform and you make it to the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, it doesn't change the fact that you wore an Arizona uniform. You're still somebody that played here that made it to the big leagues. And so it starts right there. The university itself, the athletic department itself, doesn't always count the kids that leave and put on another uniform. So they need, if they need to be the ones maybe leading the way on this as well, and including everybody that's gone on from here, made another stop after here, and then made it to a professional league. It starts there. And then if you include them, if athletics includes them, then maybe the fan base is more apt to accept that person down the line if they decide they want to come back. And there's another question, and we'll get to this. We're running out of time on the segment, but how many athletes actually come back? That's what I would like to know. I know that they've had last couple of years, 200 to 300 football players will come back for the spring game. But you're talking about 300 players out of how many have put on that uniform for the University of Arizona? Thousands? What percent of that? What percent of athletes actually ever come back to the university that they played for? I'd like to know I'd like to see some numbers on that so we can kind of get engaged on what it means to them. The guys and the ladies that actually wore the Cardinal and Navy. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We'll hear from Carly. Scooping straight ahead, Keon Burnett, speaking of current Wildcats wearing that Cardinal and Navy. We'll hear what that means to them, especially Keon Burnett, who put himself in the transfer portal when Jed Fish left, but made the decision to come back. It's DK on the Sports Tip. J-Dub is here. Cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported 12th Avenue near Ajo on 12th Avenue, north of Ajo Way, also La Cholla and River Road and La Cholla. Some slowing for westbound Ina approaching and passing Thornydale. 54 the low, 89 and sunny tomorrow, and 80 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Robert Half. Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Their recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
Here at O'Reilly Chevrolet, we want to thank you, Tucson, for helping us celebrate 100 years of serving our community. And we want to thank the Tucson Fire Department for helping us put out the cape.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Not all sports stations are built the same way. 1290 has Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball, plus the NFL and the Super Bowl. Tucson trusts 1290. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
The Pima County Fair is back April 18th through the 28th at the Pima County Fairgrounds with food, fun, games, and the craziest new carnival rides. Try deep fried nachos or strap in and take a ride on one of over 50 carnival rides and win prizes with games. Plus daily entertainment, concerts, and more at the Pima County Fair, 11300 South Houghton Road, April 18th through the 28th. Find out more at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
Choosing the right lawyer after a car wreck is important. You need to consider the law firm's experience, results, and reputation. Lerner Rowe stands above other law firms when it comes to experience and results, helping over 150,000 people recover billions of dollars for their injuries. When it comes to reputation, we have thousands of 5-star reviews, and year after year, we have been voted best personal injury law firm in Arizona. Call us today and let us put our experience, proven results, and reputation to work for you.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
And that's why elastifications are going to be so important.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You're going to love this.
Speak for yourself.
Make it quick. We have to remind people that getting an elastification right now means cool, comfortable air all summer.
Okay, so check this out.
Right, because when Alaskan AC elastifies, we do more than just tune up your AC.
Exactly. So my idea is...
we clean, test, tighten, and bring your AC back to the way it was when it was installed.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking.
People don't realize most of the repairs we do could have been prevented through our thorough elastification.
But best part is, elastifications come with a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee.
But a whole year of knowing your AC is healthy.
Okay.
And if it's time for a new AC, we built the Grizzly especially for Arizona summers.
I'm going to get the technicians ready to elastify the city.
And I'll make sure the dispatchers are getting our people out fast.
Cool idea, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. See ya.
Schedule at alaskanac.com.
Hey there, you in aisle 2. I see you by the fiber and laxatives. You still using those to manage your constipation with belly pain? If your symptoms keep coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. So you may need more than over-the-counter treatments to manage it. Ask your doctor about how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports, sponsored by Allstate. The 2024 WNBA draft was held on Monday night, and Caitlin Clark is starting over as a rookie. To no surprise, the Indiana Fever selected Clark with the number 1 overall pick. The college basketball legend is ready for a new challenge with a new fan base behind her.
I'm very lucky to be going there to an organization that really loves women's basketball. I mean, I think they had 17,000 tickets claimed to just watch the draft. I think that shows the excitement in Indianapolis. There's a lot of young talent on the team, and, just getting back to the playoffs and doing everything we can to win a lot of basketball games is certainly the goal.
Camila Cardoso, the 2-time champion from the University of South Carolina, drafted 3rd overall by the Chicago Sky. The LA Sparks selected former Stanford center Cameron Brink with the 2nd overall pick, and then grabbed former Tennessee standout Rickia Jackson at number 4. And we'll have more on the WNBA draft on tomorrow's show. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Amy Lawrence on Westwood One.
Some people just know bundling with Allstate means big savings. Just like they know the right ingredient means big flavor. They know honey on pizza is where it's at, and olive oil on ice cream is the cherry on top. And they know when you bundle home and auto with Allstate, you can save up to 25%.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We are going to be out at Arizona Baseball on Friday at High Corbett Field, so join us out there for our show 3 to 6 ahead of the series opener against the Washington State Cougars. Baseball tonight here on Wildcats Radio 1290. The midweek game this week is at Grand Canyon against the Antelopes. Arizona looking to win a 12th consecutive game. It would be their longest winning streak since 1976 if they can get it. Coverage will begin at 6:50 with Brian Jeffries. First pitch a little bit after 7 o'clock, 7:05 tonight up in Phoenix, Arizona. U of A softball is home this weekend. Back-to-back home series. The ladies took 2 out of 3 from the Oregon Ducks over the weekend, the number 21 Oregon Ducks. So it was a series win for the Wildcats, who came in ranked below Oregon in that respect. So the ladies looking to sweep their counterparts to the north, the ASU Sun Devils, this weekend. It'll be senior weekend. It's a really odd softball schedule this year in that we're already at senior weekend and it's only April the 16th. The Wildcats will play a lot of road games coming up here to end the regular season. After this series, they travel to UCLA. That'll be the final 3 games of the season, and then they'll come home. Their final actual game they will play Grand Canyon week from, actually 2 weeks from yesterday on April the 30th. They actually have a bye is the way that this kind of sets up there for the Wildcats, they'll have a bye ahead of the Pac-12 tournament, which will be at Stanford this year, which will begin on May the 8th. So the season is coming to an end. It is senior weekend. We had a chance today to catch up with Carly Skupin, the senior out of Tucson High School, and get her thoughts on the end of her run as a Wildcat and how it came relatively quickly.
I mean, it's just really exciting. It's gone by really fast, and I'm just really proud of all of our seniors and everything. And obviously, we want to finish up our last series at Hillenbrand with a bang and just have fun.
What's it like to have both rivalry and senior at the same time?
I think it's cool. It's going to be a fun weekend. I mean, it's always fun playing ASU, but it's even better when we get to play them at home. And then obviously looking forward to Sunday, celebrating our seniors. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Is there any other significance to Senior Day, given that you grew up a Wildcat fan in Tucson?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I grew up staying for the senior ceremony after the games and all of that kind of stuff. So being on the other side of it is definitely going to be a cool experience, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Has it hit you that this is it?
I don't think it's hit me yet, and I think it's just because this Senior Day is falling a little bit earlier in the year than it normally would, but I don't think it's going to hit me until I walk out there for Senior Day, and it's kind of the last go-around with the 5 of us. So,
what's been the conversation like with the other 4 seniors about Senior Day in general?
Honestly, we haven't talked about it a whole lot. I mean, a lot of our staff has reached out, asking for photos and all the fun stuff that they do. So that's starting to get a little bit exciting. But our main focus has kind of just been playing ASU this week and taking care of business. But yeah.
Have you tried to take it in every day that you're out here, knowing that this is the last go around?
Yeah, I really have. Just because it's gone by so fast. And I also think that even last year being hurt and everything, that really put things into perspective, and having the game taken away for a little bit just made me appreciate it that much more. So
It's a little weird that everyone in your class in Arizona has another year, but you guys in softball, they gave it to the year before.
Yeah. What about that? Sorry.
Is it a little
Sorry.
bit weird? I mean, do you think about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I do think, like, what if I had a 5th year? But at the same time, like, I know you only get 4 years of eligibility, so kind of just is what it is. But, I mean, it would be great to stay another year, but unfortunately we can't do that, so.
When you look back on your time with the Wildcats, what is your, like, fondest memory, or what stands out to you?
There are so many memories. I mean, obviously going to the World Series was, like, a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and hopefully we can get back there this year. And then I think it's really cool because I got to experience playing for both Coach Kendrea and now for Caitlin and the rest of the staff. So having a mix of both was definitely really cool. And then just like the friendships in general that I've made here with everyone throughout the years, like I'll cherish that forever.
What's one nugget from each of your fellow seniors that you're going to kind of take with you?
I don't know. I think it's just our last ride. Like, we just want to end on a good note and just leave it out on the field, like have no regrets, because this is our last year. So
What do you remember about the first day?
the first day here, oh man, my freshman year, it feels so long ago, but I think it's just I've learned a lot and I've matured a lot, and it's really cool to see that happening with the younger girls on the team now and being able to like mentor them a little bit through that. But I think it's just been a complete 180 in terms of maturity and just having to grow up. So,
Do you remember who that first senior was that kind of reached out and you had a real good conversation with and made you kind of feel like you're at home here?
I mean, the entire senior class that year was really supportive, and obviously, like, I wasn't expecting to play with those seniors because they stayed for COVID. But that year was definitely a challenge for me, even just being like the only freshman playing in the infield. So I remember like the entire infield, but especially Malia Martinez. She was always like super helpful and super supportive, and she definitely helped me get through that year. So.
But that super class, I mean, what just kind of stood out about those girls, you know, them coming back and leading this team back to the World Series?
I think for me, I think it was just like their experience and the maturity that they brought to the team. Like, they'd been to the World Series, they've been in those big games, they've kind of done it all. So like really taking like the freshmen under their wing and just like teaching us the way.
You guys are coming off a big win, or big series win over Oregon. How much confidence does that give you going into this rivalry weekend?
Yeah, I think we needed that series win. It was awesome. So definitely a lot of confidence going into this weekend, and we just got to keep the momentum rolling.
You mentioned that prior to you coming here that you watched a lot of those seniors during senior day. Is there an example of just who you saw and what like anything from that?
Maybe not from like when I was out in the stands, but even like the senior day from my freshman year, so like that big senior class with like Deja, Alyssa Palomino, all of those girls, just really meaningful because of the impact that they had on this program, and seeing them move on to the next level or playing pro or even just moving on with their lives was really cool to see. So,
was there a senior hug you gave that maybe meant the most to you?
I mean, I love all of them, so it's just really special. But not even that class. I mean, all of the senior classes that I've played with, it's just always special.
Carly Scoopin, the senior first base for the Arizona Wildcats. She is the leader, or tied for the lead, in the Pac-12 in runs batted in this season with 45. She is tied for fourth in home runs with 11, just one behind her teammate Allie Skaggs and a number of other girls who are at 12. She is 10th in the league in hits with 44, fourth in total bases with 84, first in sac flies with 5, and she's second in hit by pitch. She's been hit 8 times this season. So Carly Scoopin among the top offensive players in the Pac-12. And I think the thing that stands out just looking at the conference numbers this year is the overall just kind of lack of power. There's really no 20 home run hitters. I mean, the most home runs that have been hit, and I think these are all games, 12. That's the most home runs by any batter in the Pac-12 conference. And these are all games, not just Pac-12 games, but all games. You would think that especially with the advent of power bats that we've seen over the course of the last 10 years in softball, in Division I softball, that 12 home runs is a vast departure from what we've seen at the top of the leaderboard over the course of the last even 5 to 7 years, where routinely you would have at least 1 to 2 players throughout the conference that were hitting 20-plus home runs.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a national thing because I'm looking at the national stats, DK, and there are only 24 players with 13 or more.
Wow.
Only 24 players. The leader has 25. Second has 24. Third, 19. So there's only two players, Carly Spade and Jenna Golombieski, from Miami of Ohio. They have 25 and 24.
Yeah.
So those numbers are down.
Maybe the pitching is better.
You know, it's not down
across the board.
DK is the Lakers, who are on a 14-1 run and
boy.
just took a 12-point lead with 2 minutes left in the second quarter.
There you go. Remind me, is it best of 3?
No, this is, I think, a single elimination. And then they play again. So they play 2 games.
Oh, that's right, yeah, because
Yeah, so there's one spot. Yeah, one spot. So they play 2 games.
All right. Lakers on a roll there. That's
Win
good.
or go home.
Win or go home. Nothing like that in the postseason. All right, getting you home. We're going to hear from Keon Burnett coming up. U of A football, again, back on the field for their 10th practice today of spring ball. Still 2 weeks to go this week and next week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. The fellows will practice this week, and then Tuesday, Thursday next week, and then the Saturday spring game next Saturday, the 27th at Arizona Stadium at 6 p.m., a night spring game. I don't remember if we've had a night spring game here. Maybe once or twice during the Rich Rod era, we might have had one at night. But most of them have been during the daytime recently. But it'll be good, because it's supposed to be hot. So it'll be nice to have a nighttime event up there involving Arizona
I actually
football.
semi-misspoke about the play-in tournament.
Uh-oh.
It's one of the games is a single elimination. So the 9-10 matchup, whoever loses, gone.
Okay.
But the 8-7 matchup, they get a second chance.
Okay.
So if they lose, they're still not out. But basically, it is a single elimination unless you're the 7-8, and then you get a second chance to prove it, and basically one team moves on.
Very confusing.
They had to get more games on television, DK. That's what it's all about.
More chances for Charles Barkley to talk on TNT.
Yep, gotta love it.
All right. Getting you home. We love cricket. She gets you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. 22nd Street east of I-10 with a collision and westbound slowing on 22nd Street approaching I-10. Other collisions, 12th Avenue north of Ajo Way and also La Cholla and River clearing. Some slowdowns on westbound Ajo at Mission. 54 the low, 89 sunny tomorrow, and 80 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Robert Half. Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Their recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
At Nova Home Loans, we believe everyone deserves the opportunity to enjoy the independence that comes with home ownership. Whether you're a first-time home buyer who needs down payment assistance, have less than perfect credit, or looking to refinance, Nova has a variety of home loan programs for your unique situation. Visit novahomeloans.com or call 800-955-9125 to learn more. Not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Rates and available loan programs are subject to change without notice. NMLS 3087, BK 0902429, Equal Housing Opportunity.
And that's why Alaskifications are going to be so important.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You're going to love this.
Speak for yourself.
Make it quick. We have to remind people that getting an Alaskification right now means cool, comfortable air all summer.
Okay, so check this out.
Right, because when Alaskan AC Alaskifies, we do more than just tune up your AC.
Exactly. So my idea is...
we clean, test, tighten, and bring your AC back to the way it was when it was installed.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking.
People don't realize most of the repairs we do could have been prevented through our thorough Alaskification.
But best part is... Alaskifications come with a 1-year, no-breakdown guarantee.
But
a whole year of knowing your AC is healthy.
Okay.
And if it's time for a new AC, we built the Grizzly especially for Arizona summers.
I'm going to get the technicians ready to Alaskify the city.
But...
and I'll make sure the dispatchers are getting our people out fast.
But...
cool idea, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. See ya.
Schedule at alaskanac.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
Is your mower's battery weak or dead after winter storage? Get your mower ready for spring lawn maintenance at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, purchase any Superstart lawn and garden battery and get a $10 gift card after rebate. Choose Superstart batteries for power, performance, and reliability exclusively at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Brian Peabody.
My biggest thing is get back. If you don't get back in transition D, you'll never play.
I got one of your former players at Greenfields here.
Player is very generous. I was not a player. I was just a guy who sat around on the bench. I was on your second team back in '92, way back when.
We didn't have a second team. We only had 6 players. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and I wasn't even good enough to be on that rotation. So there you go.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's time to replace. And right now you can get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. Plus, with our spring savings event, you can buy one window or door and get one 40% off when you buy 4 or more units. Just text CONSULT to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no monthly payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text CONSULT to 200-300 to buy one window or door and get one 40% off. And right now, save an extra $30 off every unit. Hurry, this incredible offer is only in April. Text CONSULT to 200-300. Text the word CONSULT to 200-300. CONSULT to 200-300.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290, final segment of the show for today. We're going to talk some U of A football later in the week. Glenn Howe will join us. Glenn has been out to some of the practices. We'll get his thoughts on some of the things that he has seen. Practice number 10 happening today. It's very interesting. We were talking just kind of about the whole transfer thing, how you leave your standing as a Wildcat and how you're viewed upon by the program. And I was mentioning in terms of baseball how they don't necessarily count in their major league totals players who did not leave as Wildcats and make the big leagues. They only count the players that left as Wildcats in the big leagues. And interesting, you brought up on the basketball side, J-Dub, Will Bynum.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go back and see how things are listed in the basketball media guide. And what Arizona does in that respect is they have a page devoted to the NBA, but it's only devoted to kids that were actually drafted into the NBA.
Out of Arizona.
Right. It was not, drafted. So it doesn't include if you were an undrafted player. So, like, there's no mention of T.J. McConnell on the NBA page for Arizona because he wasn't drafted. He was an undrafted player is how he got into, went into the NBA. So he's not actually listed on there either. But because I was wondering if Will Bynum would be listed on their NBA page, but he wasn't drafted either and wasn't drafted out of U of A. So he's not on that list.
He wasn't drafted, but he did play 300 and some odd games in the NBA for sure.
Right. So they escape. I mean, the basketball team or the basketball department escapes ridicule because they don't list like Arizona Wildcats who played in the NBA, much like the baseball team has done in the past. Arizona Wildcats who played in Major League Baseball.
Right.
But then you got all these guys that played here that left that aren't on that list.
And real quick, I brought Will Bynum up during the break because he fits in that category of other reasons for transferring. His mom got a little sick, and he was from Chicago, transferred to Georgia Tech, not because he didn't like Tucson, didn't like playing for Lute. It's because he wanted to be closer for family reasons. And so, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. Every decision made by every young person who leaves the program is for a different reason. It's different circumstances, right?
Absolutely. 520-848-1290 if you want to get in on that conversation, how you view people that have left in the past, how you view, again, I think about who was the young man that he left. I don't even think he actually played a single game here at Arizona because he left right after Lute retired, and then he went to Kansas and won a national championship. Was the big guy? What was his name?
I don't know.
Center. Oh gosh, it'll come to me. But yeah, he another guy who, but he never, in the respect of him, he never actually suited up and played in a game at Arizona. He was here for part of his freshman year and then left. So that's probably a little bit different situation there for him. All right, want to hear our Desert Diamond Casino replay today, and let's get to that.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, we got a chance to hear from the tight ends last week, and one of those tight ends is Keon Burnett. He is a legacy Wildcat. His dad, Chester, played for the Desert Swarm teams back in the 1990s. Keon, in fact, thought about leaving Arizona for a moment when Jed Fish made the decision to leave Arizona and take the head coaching job at Washington. Keon was asked about that process for him deciding to stay here at Arizona.
It was a big, long process I went through with my family, but ultimately, just at the end of the day, it was looking at the opportunity that I have here and my loyalty to this program and just trying to make the best decision for me. This was it, so.
Kind of on that note for both of you, when you guys first met Coach Atkins, what was it about him that made you trust him as a coach and believe in the direction of the program?
Yeah, Coach Atkins, he does a lot of things really well that I think stand out to me, but really with him, it was just how personal he is with the way he teaches and the way I'm able to learn from him and pick up information on the fly. Obviously, being a former quarterback, there's a lot of different aspects I get that I don't necessarily get with a typical tight end coach. So learning from him has been great so far.
You hear Coach Atkins say best 11 for everybody out there, and knowing the amount of tight ends that you guys roll out there on a series-by-series basis, what do you guys see from that as an opportunity to contribute, to help yourselves get better, but also to make a splash, kick the ball?
Yeah, definitely. I think anytime that term is used, best 11, everybody on the team wants to be in that category. So for sure, it's an opportunity. I think it's great. The more tight ends we can have on the field, the better, because it just opens up so many options on offense. So yeah, I look at it as an opportunity for sure.
From playing behind Tanner McLaughlin over the last couple of years, what do you take away from learning from a guy like that?
Yeah, a lot. A lot is the answer. Blessed to play with a lot of great players in my career up to this point. Really just the physicality he brings to the game that I can implement my own game, learning to play the position more effectively, being a great teammate, great character off the field.
Can you kind of take us through the process? You entered the portal and both of you withdrew. What went into that whole decision and the process for both of you?
Yeah, for me, entering the portal was just a move that I made just to look at all my options, because obviously the rule is you can't communicate with anybody if you're not in the portal from other schools. So just to be able to look at everything. So that was really all it was. Looked at some other options and then evaluated everything and made up my decision ultimately.
Obviously everybody has to make the best decision for themselves, but we've seen what you guys have seen in the spring as far as competition, as far as opportunity, as far as getting a glimpse of fall camp. Is there something to be said for sticking it out, even in this era of college football?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think it's rare in this day and age because college football is changing. But when you look at a program like this and what's going on, it's definitely eye-catching and it's special. So I would be excited to watch it too. But I think we got something special going here for sure.
And then regarding that, just Noah and T-Mac kind of leading the way with, galvanizing the team and getting a lot of people to come back. What did you take away from that moment with those two leading the way?
Yeah, I think building on that, they kind of led the way for that whole thing. In our player-led meetings we had back at the time, and everything was changing, but emphasizing that this is a player-led program. So, when those guys left, ultimately it was us to build everything, and, it sucked to see them leave, but if we stick together, we can do something special.
And Keane, you were part of the OC Buckeyes, right?
I was, yeah.
Okay. So you've seen Noah from 8th grade until now. What's the evolution like?
Yeah, I've been playing Noah with Noah for a long time, and it's been special. I'm blessed to watch all those guys, Jacob Manu and T-Mac, watch all of them develop through the years. It's been something special for me, and I wish nothing but the best for them. I'm excited to see them play.
The relationship you have with your fellow Servite guys, how has that continued on here? How has it changed, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't really changed, to be honest. Those are always my guys, and they always have been and always will be. So I would say I'm in a very blessed situation to have grown up with those guys since 7th or 8th grade, all the way through high school, obviously, and up to now. So it's not something you see every day, so I'm very blessed.
Do you recall the situation that Coach Atkins was referring to about he wanted to come over and talk to you about something, but T-Mac had already?
Right.
Do you know what that play was?
Yeah, it was I forgot the route. I think I ran a corner route and one-on-ones, and it was just something about the top of the route he was telling me. But that's the same kind of relationship we have. If something pops up and maybe I don't see it, he'll pick it up. And same thing, vice versa with Noah. So we all work together. So, yep.
So we heard Coach Atkins talk about how he's got to be on top of his game, coaching Noah. How would you describe just his football IQ?
Yeah, I mean he's definitely not your average quarterback from an IQ standpoint. And I would just say he plays and he processes information extremely fast. So, which is great for us being a tight end position. So just being a primary reader on a lot of plays is definitely beneficial.
Last question.
During week, you speak about Noah.
I would say the same thing. Noah, I played against Noah in the 7-on-7 circuit back in high school. So even seeing him play then when I was playing both ways, I was like, damn, that's a good quarterback. And then coming here, him just knowing the game and him willing to help people out too. Say you're messing up, he can do that. And he just sees stuff on the field that's different. So I feel like Noah's the top quarterback in college football.
All right, that's our time. Thanks, man.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Taylor Swift.
It's not too late for you to experience the Eras. Taylor brings the tour back to the U.S. this fall, and we put you in the running to see her in style. Win one of 3 trips to see Taylor Swift, including round-trip air, 2 nights hotel, $500 spending cash, and 2 of the hottest tickets on the planet.
Welcome to the Eras Tour!
All right, I'm about to give you a key word so you can have a chance to win one. Now, one of those trips has already been given away, so there's 2 trips. The last 2 trips are to New Orleans in October to see Taylor Swift on the Eras Tour. I'm going to give you a keyword to text to what we call a short code, which means it's not a full 7-digit phone number. It's just 95819. That's the number you're texting to, 95819. All right? Here is your keyword to text right now. You've got to use this keyword before 7 o'clock, because if you don't, it goes away until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Your keyword is red. Red. R-E-D. Red. Like Taylor Swift's boyfriend plays for an NFL team and the color they wear is red. That's the Chiefs. Text red right now to 95819 for your chance to win tickets to see Taylor Swift in New Orleans in October. Round trip airfare for 2. 2-night hotel stay, 2 tickets to the show, and $500 cash that you can spend down in the Quarter, the French Quarter. Just watch out for the rats. They have really big rats in New Orleans. biggest rats I think they've got. I've not really been to New York a lot, but I can't imagine the rats in New York are bigger than the rats in New Orleans. And I was down there after Katrina when there was a lot of like damage, and you would like be looking out the side of your eye walking down the streets and past buildings and all kinds of stuff because you never knew what might like jump out at you.
I'm sure Taylor's roadie crew will have that under control.
They better, because there's some really big rats in New Orleans. Other than that, the food is great. The food is absolutely fabulous in New Orleans. So head on over to our website, Wildcats Radio 1290, or just text 95819. Text the word red there right now. All right, that's going to wrap up our show for today. Thanks to all the folks that joined us. Thanks to Adia Barnes, Steve Potvin. We also got a chance to talk to Jim Toffel from over at the Tucson Racket and Fitness Club. Head on over there. They've just debuted some new pickleball courts. Great place to play. I've taken a lesson or two over there at the Racket Club. Looking forward to getting over there and playing on their new courts. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 3. That's our time for tonight. Arizona baseball coming up at 7, 6:50. Our coverage begins. Brian Jeffries, Wildcats, looking for a 12th straight win against Grand Canyon. Have a great night, everybody. Bear down, Arizona.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions reported, crash at Speedway and Park near the U of A, Park Avenue and Speedway. Also clearing, we've got Speedway and Columbus Boulevard and Speedway. 54, the overnight low, 89. Sunny tomorrow and 80 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Every business faces challenges, but shipping shouldn't be one of them. Turn shipping to your advantage with USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
We get you so close to the action at McHale, it feels like Wilbur and Wilma are in the car with you. This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white-on-black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. When I need a winning strategy for my team, nothing beats knowledge and skill. That's why I recommend Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for all your home service needs. Having personally witnessed the impact of hard work and dedication, Right Way brings the same commitment to your home's comfort. Whether it's HVAC, plumbing, or electrical, their team always delivers excellence. With a legacy of quality service since 1959, you know you're in good hands. So give your home the best. Choose Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Call or text 520-640-CATS or visit rightwayac.com.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic offers military discounts to retired and disabled veterans, and they now accept patients with excess insurance. For more information and to find the location nearest you, visit firstchiro.com.